Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, welcome. Sorry. I know it's a little bit later than planned. I had a few bits to do. Hope you are well. Good morning from me. Apparently one of the biggest 5 wankers on Spurs YouTube, according to videos I've seen this morning. Welcome to you lot. Sorry about me being such a massive wanker. And one of the other biggest 5 wankers on YouTube has just arrived. Here's Lubo. We do get the great comments. Lubo, I thought you were pulling into your house.
No, I'm travelling today, so I just literally pulled off the road to tune in.
Oh, I see. Well, welcome. Lubo, seems like we've ruffled a couple of feathers, haven't we? We've ruffled some feathers, mate. It's all good fun, isn't it, this Tottenham Hotspur malarkey?
Listen,
feathers.
Great. All publicity is good publicity, I'm told. So thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Get the word out. Wonderful.
Madness. Anyway, good morning to each and every one of you.
Nothing better to do with it. There we go.
I think you're on a bit of a lag here, Lubo. I think we're on a bit of a time lag, which could be a bit of an issue, but we'll give it a go. Guys, girls, everybody out there.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, definitely on a time lag. So guys and girls, this is now the 22nd of July. We're now sitting here going, what on earth is happening? I'm not going to talk about Morgan Gibbs-White. I am absolutely bored to death. But we have seen from Jack Pitt-Brook today that Tottenham would consider a move for Palhinha, but it would be preferred to have a loan move. Now, I'm going to start by talking about Palhinha. I can't believe it. I'll be honest. I've seen a lot of people saying, he's not for me. Don't like Palhinha. No, I've looked into him. I don't know what they watched, because when he was in the Premier League, I watched a guy that was everything we need in a defensive-minded midfielder. Lubo, Palhinha, why on earth are there people who wouldn't want Palhinha? And do you believe, I'll show you, this is what Jack Pitt-Brook said. He said Spurs' preference would be for a loan move for João Palhinha rather than a permanent deal. Palhinha on loan for a year, Lubo?
Be pretty good, wouldn't it? He'd teach Archie the game and bring Archie through.
Without Archie Gray, I don't want to talk about that shit player. No Archie Gray. I want to talk about proper footballers. Not Archie Gray. Not Archie Gray, not Keeley, not Donnelly. I'm talking about Palhinha.
Yeah.
Come on, we've got to be able to do this without talking about these people who aren't good enough. We've got to be able to do it.
No, oh, it's fun time today, isn't it? Eh? You got to smile. Yeah, no, listen. If they get him for a loan, fantastic, which releases money for other players. If they can't spend the money, bring him in. He's worth it. End of.
For me, I think this is everything that we've needed. We need a guy that senses danger, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were going to talk a little bit longer, so I started eating. And you gave me a 15-second answer. Jesus, Lubo. Right. This is a guy, he senses danger, right? When he was at Fulham, I'm pretty sure for the 2 years he was there, he had the most recoveries, the most interceptions, and the most successful tackles. I don't understand why that wouldn't be something we really, really want in this team. I just can't understand it, mate.
It's not a bad reference, is it? No. As Sean says, facts, not opinions. They're the facts. So, you look at it, he didn't get as much footballing minutes as he wanted at Bayern. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Bayern are looking to strengthen their midfield as well this summer. So it makes sense for him to come back to the Premier League, which he knows well. Bring him in. It's a shame. I wanted him last year. There was never any chance we were going to get him in front of Bayern Munich, even if Andrew wanted a 6, which he didn't. So now it's perfect. New manager, new system, proper coaching. Let's get him in. Looking forward to it.
Big up Machina. Listen, Machina, we're not going to talk about individual YouTubers here. By the way, I did see you in the comment section. I see everything, Machina Joe. I see. And look, I think if you look at Spurs, it's difficult, right? Because we all sit here and talk about what we need, and we need this profile, that profile. Is there a danger that we're judging what we need this year based off of the tactics of last year? Or do you think that there's always a place for a Palhinha in any type of system and setup?
I think personally, I think we've got to look at the player for how he's played at previous clubs, judge him on that, and that nullifies your question, doesn't it? Basically.
Sure.
Because how can anyone judge any player based on the last 2 years? You've got to look at it and think, well, fine. How did he play in a proper coach setup?
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, no argument there.
I mean,
we could,
we talked
just
about
can't judge anything for the last 2 years.
Well, no, we can, no. I see. This is where I disagree. I think we can judge. I can judge how a player is able to control a ball, pass the ball, their movement. Can they beat a man? I can judge all of that stuff. But my point is more around when you've got a profile of a player like Palhinha, who is that defensive midfielder. He is that. I don't want to say a destroyer because I think that's unfair. But surely every club needs that type of player, don't they? Surely every club wouldn't say no to having that profile of footballer within their setup.
Well, you look at successful clubs through the years, and they've all had one, haven't they? You go back many years to your people like Souness. You sort of come closer to home with closer to now with people like Vieira and Keane, and we do need that sort of player at the club.
Mm.
So yeah, for sure, 100% Palhinha. And if we can get him on loan, fair enough. You just got extra 20 million, 25 million to spend elsewhere.
Right.
So
see,
good for me.
See, that for me is perfect. Bring him in. I'd bring him on alone with an option to buy. I can't imagine the option to buy in a year's time would be huge either. I imagine 20 million, 15 million option to buy.
Yeah. Sure.
Bring him in, sit him in midfield alongside, I don't know, ideally I'd want him alongside Morgan Gibbs-White, if I'm going to be brutally honest. If you've got Palhinha and Morgan Gibbs-White in a double pivot, and then James Maddison in front of them with Kudus to the right, suddenly it looks like a bit of a tasty team, doesn't it, Lubo?
Yeah, and then you're just looking at replacing or putting top players into those other two positions. Because for me, the back five, personally, I think he'll start with that back five. And the back five that when they did play together, the results were far better, far more positive than when they didn't. So I'm sure Frank has studied all the stats, studied all the videos, seen how Spurs play as a back five, and that's how he'll start.
Yeah.
The only person I can see personally, which is a punt at this stage because I'm basing it on 2 years and 45 minutes, is the kid that played on Saturday. And I think Vuskovic could push himself into contention during this season. If he's as good as the hype, we got ourselves a hell of a player there.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's true. I feel like as Spurs fans, we've been burnt so many times, Lubo, that I understand everyone who goes, oh, another rumour, don't believe it, Savva. And by the way, every time I talk about something, guys, it doesn't mean I believe it's 100% going to happen, right? That otherwise we'd never have any content. But if we move to the broader transfer window, Lubo, these sort of deals with Palhinha, like maybe a Douglas Luiz, these sort of deals just seem so obvious. Why do we not move quicker? Why do we have to sit and wait for pre-season to begin? Why do we have to sit and wait until we're about to go on tour? What is the thinking behind that? I just don't understand Tottenham at times.
For everyone that comes in, you've got to have one out, haven't you? Because we were right on the because we were right on the level with 17 non homegrown players. So I'm sure they're trying to get players out the door as well. And sometimes, you look at a list of players. Sometimes they're not available at that moment, are they? You just got to wait a bit longer. Things happen at that player's club that may facilitate an opportunity for you to come in and buy. It's interesting. You know, I'm sure they're looking at lots of different players. It is frustrating when you see the other big clubs who are getting players through the door already. But yeah, I think we've just got to be a little bit patient. You know, Frank's having a look at the players. He's weighing up. He doesn't want to make any big mistakes either, which is fair enough. You know, the guy's a professional. He doesn't want to, let someone go and someone's playing Premier League football and they're absolutely brilliant and everyone's saying, Jesus, what did Frank let him go for? So we'll see. You know, I think it's going to be a busy month between now and the end of August, and I do think there'll be a few ins and outs and one or two surprises. But let's see.
Yeah, just quickly, other news that that would have involved Spurs loosely is that Ilya Zabanyi Romano 3 hours ago said Ilya Zabanyi wants PSG, and PSG are set to improve their bid. The verbal agreement has been reached with Zabanyi in June, and PSG are set to approach Bournemouth again. No active talks with Tottenham so far, despite reports. It seems like, Percy made a good point yesterday. He said it's like we're always the bridesmaid, never the bride. That's Guehi with Liverpool, Simons with Chelsea, Zabanyi with PSG. Is it time that we stick to our own lane? Do you know what I mean? Like if we keep hearing that these are the players we want, and it's great that we're linked with good players, Lubo, but surely we know what we can get and what we can't. Surely we know the stature of the club, don't we?
Well, surely it doesn't go as far as a bid. Surely a lot of this is just talk. You know, there was a lot of talk about Eze last year. Spurs never went in for Eze. You wouldn't have believed it by the newspaper reports. And I think this whole thing with Zabanyi, why would you pick Spurs in front of PSG? If I'm sure questions were asked and answers came back. So for me, it's just people just talking. It's just hot air for the sake of it, and it's incorrect. So again, it's when you see a player sitting down signing his contract in a white shirt, it's for real. You look at the players like Dan So came out the blue, Morgan Gibbs-White came out the blue. No one was expecting it. And so many of the players that we buy, they happen all of a sudden, bang, the player's in, and nobody was expecting it. We were talking about Eze, Semenya, and Mbeumo at the start of the season, and we ended up getting Kudus, and hopefully Gibbs-White. So, the talk is talk, and it doesn't mean anything, does it?
No.
So it's you just got to look at.
Yeah, by the way, just some breaking news that Granit Xhaka only wants to join Sunderland, according to Fabrizio Romano. So it looks like Sunderland are going to strengthen again. They're doing a nice little job there of signing some competent footballers. So I think that would be a top signing for Sunderland in a what you would think would be a relegation battle. But I'll give you the news as it comes, thick and fast from everywhere, apart from Tottenham Hotspur. If we're going to be completely honest. Yeah, it's a strange one, right? It's a strange one. We all want signings. We're all thinking it's going to be different. 10 days ago, 11 days ago, it looked like it was going to be different, Lubo. But the last 11 days have been really disappointing since the Kudus signing, haven't they? They've been really lackluster. We've not heard any concrete offers that have gone in. That we're probably going to lose Lubo for a little bit, so I'll just keep talking for the moment. It looks like he might be back. It's kind of been very disappointing the last 2 weeks since the Kudus signing. It's gone back to being the Spurs that we thought we knew and loved. Is that fair to say?
It's what's disappointing is all of a sudden what looked like 3 players in through the door in 3 days. And people were talking about Walton, which again was a lot of talk. with nothing, with no substance. So many other different players were mentioned within that week. So yes, it seems a little bit of an anticlimax after that. That you had three, well, definitely two, possibly three through the door, and then nothing. I'm sure there's loads of stuff going on. Lange works very quietly, and we'll see. I'm quite chilled about it, Sav. At the moment, I'm quite chilled. At the end of the day, it's not ideal.
How can you be chilled about it when we're a Champions League football club that have signed? We strengthened one position on the pitch, one position.
Because Frank's looking at the players.
Yeah, but he'll
decide.
Yeah, but how many times are we going to do this? How many times are we going to do this? Yes, Frank's looking at the players, but come on, right? When Maresca went into Chelsea, he bought players, right? When when Ten Hag went to Man United, he bought players. When Pep went to City, he bought players. Why are we the only club that apparently needs a manager to come in, take time, look at the players? Surely we know we need better players in Lubo. Surely the club know and Frank knows.
I'm sure we do. But listen, the transfer window finishes on the 1st of September. So it's not like it's what today, 22nd of July. It's not the 22nd of August. So let's see what happens. If it doesn't happen, then yes, it's been a horrendous transfer window, but we've still got 5.5 weeks to go. So that's why I'm not panicking.
Well, let me introduce Dan. How you doing, Dan? You all right?
Yeah. Big up, Savva. Big up, Ian. Big up, chat. How's everybody today? You all good?
Yeah,
morning, Dan. Morning, Dan.
Yeah,
morning.
Not bad, mate. Not bad. I'm going to completely disagree with Lubo here, Dan. I don't understand these fans that say things. The window's not shut yet. We go on pre-season tour in 8 days. 8 days we go on pre-season tour. I don't want these players joining at the end of August. Surely we want them ready for Bayern Munich, Newcastle, Arsenal, PSG, so we can see them. They can learn Thomas Frank's system and learn their teammates. Surely, don't we?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what slowed down all of a sudden. It was all hype a couple of weeks ago, getting their signings in, but it's all slowed down. It's all gone quiet. I mean, it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. We're going on pre-season tour. When we travelling, wasn't it after the weekend, right?
I think it's the 30th, if I'm not wrong. I think, is it the 30th or the 31st, something like that we're travelling?
Yeah, and the ideal scenario is to get these players in this week, get a couple at least, and get them on the plane, for this tour. I don't know what the delay is. It's frustrating as a fan. We're all kind of waiting here, waiting for anything. There's just been a lot of kind of links, but nothing really solid. I don't know what's going on, guys. What do you think the hold up is right now? Is it we're trying to shift players out first? What is it?
I don't know, because what I'm seeing, Dan, right now, like, for example, is it Ben Jacobs that's just said, 1 second, let me just double check it was Ben Jacobs. I don't want to give wrong information. People jump on you. Yeah, Ben Jacobs just said Chelsea's still active on Jarell Hatto. I mean, if anyone's watched Jarell Hatto playing, these clubs just go and they reckon it's going to be, 14 million? 45 million for Jarell Hatto. Like, where are we, like, how are these clubs going and spending? And we're sitting here and we got fans like Lubo going, don't worry, it's okay. It's only the end of July. I don't get it, mate. I'm just exasperated.
I don't understand it. Look, Lubo's right. We have got time, right? We have got time, but you want it done, don't you? You want it done ASAP. The season's going to come around really fast. You need to get these players in, working with Frank under his system, getting used to the team. I don't know what the delay is. I really don't. And all this talk about investments gone quiet. What is really going on at the club right now? And I think we just need to know. We're all in the dark. You all right, Dan? How you doing, man?
Yeah, morning. Recovered, I think is the word.
Morning, Dan.
Morning, mate. I mean, Dan, where do you sit with this? Like, I mean, I feel like we all we're all hypocrites. We all want to be a big club. We all talk like we want to be a big club, but then we're just happy when our club keeps doing things that aren't big club things. City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, they've all got their players in ready for pre-season. They've all got their players in. Pedro's been banging in goals in pre-season for Chelsea. And Man United, ready for pre-season, have got Mbuemo and Cunha, a brand new strike force. And we're going, oh, it's okay. As long as they come in before the 1st of September, aren't we falling into that trap again?
Look, if I'm going to just be honest from my side here, did I expect any different? Not really. Did it look like it changed overnight? Yes, it did. I don't think what's happened with Morgan Gibbs is, I just think it's one of them things, it's happened sort of thing. But then you, along with that in the background, you'd expect to see other things also still going on as such in the background. And it just seems like things have died down again. Same Spurs, different day sort of thing. I'm sort of at that point now where it's that word again at Spurs, should. We should be doing this. We should be doing that. It should be getting done like this. But we're not, basically. And I'm at that point where I think as long as we do get the players we want by the end of the transfer window, I'll deal with it. Not saying it's the way it should be or the way I want it to be, but I think I'm at that point now. As long as we get them, I'll deal with it when it comes to it, because it's Spurs. Should be different.
Yeah.
Look like it could be different, but it looks like it's going to be the same way. And we got to look at shipping some out as well.
But I mean, let me ask you, analyst. I mean, isn't that a worrying thing as well? Like no one, like they've not shifted anyone. I'm not counting Keeley. He wasn't here last year. I'm not counting Valise. He wasn't here last year. They have shifted no one. This squad is massive.
Look, I mean, Frank, he's having a look at the players, isn't he? You know, he's working out who he wants to keep, who's involved, who needs to be moved on. You've got to give a little bit of time for that. But, you know, we need to get them out. We need to get some out. We can't bring a load of players in without shifting them. So, look, it's a lot to do. Frank has got a lot to sort out. He ain't decided on the captain yet. There's so many things he needs to get sorted. And the ideals, I think we'll know once we go on this pre-season tour. I think we'll have a better understanding who's going to be involved in Frank's team, because, you know, the ones left at home, but likely the ones that they're trying to shift out. That's normally a good indicator, what we hope.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the issue is we've got, because of the Super Cup, everything's come forward a little bit as well. And if I'm not wrong, Spurs play their first league game. Don't we play our first league game on the 16th, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah.
16th, 17th, right? It's now the 22nd of July. So we've got, off the top of my head, we've got 24 days?
25 days.
25 days until we play a Premier League game. And in between that, you've got Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Newcastle, PSG, right? And Luton. I just can't understand. Now, for once, we didn't go, right, we've got the manager we want in, right? Let's get 3 or 4 early signings in, get on tour. Let's be prepared. Let's be that club that are prepared. And listen, that may happen this week. And I'll happily come on here at the end of the week and go, brilliant, they've done what I asked for. But as it stands right now, Lubo, they've not done that. And again, what we're doing is scrapping around going, what should our midfield be out of Bentancur, Bergvall, Saab, Basuma, Gray? Who should be our left winger from all the older ones? It's almost like the team's kind of picking itself, and it's all getting a little bit stagnant, isn't it?
No, it's not September the 2nd yet. I just keep saying, relax. Let Frank look at his players. He will know by looking at the players and knowing which ones he wants out. That will then tell him what positions he needs. And then Paratici Lange will say, right, these are the positions you want. These are the boys. These are the players that we're looking at. Who do you like? And
so why don't any of the other clubs do this?
Why
this
rush
is the way to do it, why don't any of the
you...
other clubs act like this?
Well, hang on a second. No. Well, because all the other main clubs you're talking about all had their managers in place last year. Frank's just joined.
So which of those clubs?
It's a big difference.
Sure. So which of those clubs, when they first brought in their manager, didn't do anything like what we're doing?
Who didn't do? I can't.
So when Maresca came in, Chelsea didn't make a bundle of signings.
hang on, that's Chelsea a basket case. So, you know,
All right, Man United, City,
Man United,
Arsenal.
Oh, how much money have United wasted? Jesus, I mean, that's who we don't want to be like.
Yeah, but you see, you're changing the dynamic of my question.
No, I'm not.
Right?
Let Frank suss it out. See who he doesn't want, who he wants, and then we'll go in and we'll buy. And if they miss 2 or 3 games, they miss 2 or 3 games. But it's more important to get it right for the next 100 games than it is to rush it and get it wrong.
I don't ever want to hear you cuss Daniel Levy again. Then, if you've got that loser's attitude, I don't want you to sit here and go.
Vinay's in charge. No, Vinay's in charge now. Levy's got nothing to do with it. I don't think Vinay's running it with Lange and Perisic. Let them and Frank. Let them get on with it. I trust them.
We're losing you, Lubo. We're losing you. Well, I think we've lost him. Welcome, James. I saw you shaking your head there. James, I can't get round this whole notion of if they miss 3 or 4 games, they miss 3 or 4 games. Don't worry about having them in for the start of the season. I mean, we're talking like we're Millwall. Like,
I said to you, didn't I?
A few very good players in between now and 1st of September.
Lubo, we've missed the last minute.
Yeah, I said to you like 2 weeks ago, once the players are back, Frank's got a week to decide what he wants and what he don't want. And I can only judge from what I see. From that one game, I could see that majority of those players could not play the system we was trying to play. You could see the style of football. He was looking to play the ball from the back, work the ball forward. The amount of times Bergvall gave it away. For me, Jamie Donnelly gave it away. Son, well, I'd love to hear Lubo's situation on Son now because, fucking hell, I've never seen a worse left-winger performance in my life than what I saw that day. I could see from there that we was trying to play football and the players just wasn't good enough. So if I can see it within 45 minutes of each half, if Frank needs more than that, then I'm sorry, I'm worried for Frank. I genuinely am. If Frank has sat down and the Levy's gone, who do you want? And he goes, I don't know. I actually don't know who's going to play the system and who can, who can't. I'm seriously worried that Frank's the wrong guy.
By the way, just quickly, just some breaking news. Birmingham City have just launched a bid to bring back Alexander Mitrovic. What a signing that would be for them in the Championship.
Yep.
That's a 25, 30 goal a season, man. Sorry, I just thought that was very interesting. Look, James, I think that the shift already is being put onto Frank. We've got no way of knowing that Frank said in his first interview that he made demands on players that he wants, etc. I don't believe in any way Frank has turned around and said, oh, let me look at them through all of July. Don't worry about signings. I don't want them in Asia. I don't want them on the tour. I fail to believe that has happened in any way, shape or form.
But the problem is, fans believe it. Fans are making up their own notion that this is what's going on. I mean, no disrespect, Lupo. You're saying Levy's got nothing to do with it. Thomas Frank come out and said Daniel Levy, Vinay did well to get Kudos over the line. He come out and said that. So why would he say Daniel Levy specifically if he's nothing to do with it anymore? Like our fans are making up this notion to suit the narrative of what's best, and I just don't get it.
With the Thomas Frank bit, yeah. Now, again, okay, he wants to see a couple of players in person, whatever else. But on a personal opinion, I would have thought a manager's job would have been to already 75% know what he wants before he comes in there, basically.
Sure.
He's been playing in the Premier League 4 years himself as a manager. I think this is his 5th year. Have I got it right, or is it 5, 6? I think it's his 5th year. I would have thought he'd have already sat there, gone through the players, already knows the majority of the players because he's had to play against them and everything else in that, and sat there and said, right, what's going to work best with this team? I want to do it this way. I think this is the way that's going to work with it. He ain't going to work. he ain't going to work. Yes, I'm going to give him a go. I would have thought he should already by now have a very, very good idea of who he wants and who he don't want. And I would have thought he'd have had a majority of it sorted out before he went in there. And then the odd player here and there, like, do you know what? Let's see if he can work my way. He didn't work Angie's way, but I think he could work my way. Let's give him a week or two in training and I'll make my mind up there. But I would have expected 75% he would have already known what he wants and what he don't want, basically, because that's what I would have thought a proper manager does. Isn't that called a bit of homework?
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Oh. Dennis. Dylan, big up Dylan. It's just the point. Frank would have had opposition scouting reports whenever they played us for years at Brentford. He'd know who the weaker links are, who to target. And again, it's baffling. The likes of Richie, Davis, Hill, and Solomon. Now, on the getting rid of players bit, I think it's more difficult than we think because I don't think a lot of these players are very good, and I think it's hard to get rid of them. But he would know surely the areas he needs. Surely, if we can all look and go, we need a midfielder. He knows we need a midfielder, right? Surely.
Look. This has just been going on for years, right? Spurs struggling to shift out players. I mean, it's just nobody wants them. Look, there's obvious ones that we know need to go, yeah, and there's more that I wouldn't mind moving on either. You know, like Basuma. I mean, I'd either take an offer for Sarr, Kulusevski. I know he's injured, so it's unlikely. Son's got to go. Maybe he will be gone after the Asian tour. Look, this is just an ongoing problem. Years and years and years at Tottenham Hotspur, shifting out players. Nobody wants them, you know. And then Levy's trying to get the most out of them as he can, and he sells them. So it's just we're just such a slow club of moving on with these transfers, bringing in and selling them, and it delays everything before the start of the season. And we go in not fully ready, you know, scrapping around, you know, trying to get a deal in, trying to shift out players, and then it's just not good, is it? Like, you know, you need to be ready. You know, this all needs to be sorted in the next couple of weeks. If not, then, you know, it's just the same old, right?
Yeah, I feel like, I'm going to call it out, I feel that people like Lubo get warped in. Like, yes, new manager, he can coach better, for sure. But really, does Frank really need all summer to look at these players to know that we've got crap left wingers? Does he need all summer to know that we need a centre midfielder? Does he need all summer to know? He didn't seem to need all summer to know we needed a right winger. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm worried at this stage. Sorry guys, I was calm. I'm now worried. I need something to happen to take me down a notch in my anxiety of Spurs again.
I think the other question that comes into it still is the one we all debate on it. We all have our own opinion to an extent on it, but quite fence it in a lot of it, especially on my side. Who actually makes the decisions for what player he gets? Is it down to Levy? Is it down to the manager? Is it split in between? Has he already labelled who he wants gone and who he wants in, and we're just chugging along a bit slow, and that's down to Levy? Is it the fact that we got Kudus because Frank sat there and said, I want him, he's going to work for the way I play? Levy went and got the job done. Or again, is Frank being a bit slow in who he wants to keep and who he wants to get rid of? I don't know. I honestly don't know what is going on behind the lines at the moment, because at one stage it looked like, right, that's the idea we've got. That's what Frank seems to want. That's what we're going to go for. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, there was a big bang and then there was no smoke after, basically.
My question would be, to anybody that says they need to have a look, Frank's still looking at the squad. I could have put that display in front of a 5-year-old on the weekend and they would have gone, wow, Kudus is a player. He's levels above everything else we've got. So if we can see that in 45 minutes, what is taking so long to understand that Kudus is the level of player we need and no one else in that front line is anywhere near that level? Like, what does he need to look at?
I don't believe it is him, James. I don't believe this is on Frank at all. I think Frank realises what he needs. He's not an idiot. He's a very intelligent man.
I was saying that. I was only saying that because fans are saying he needs to look at players. Yeah. I'm not saying that Frank's an idiot either, because I think he's a top. I mean, within those 45 minutes, personally, I see a completely different style of football. Completely. I just looked at the players not good enough to play that style. The amount of times we gave the ball away, things like that.
But the thing is, Glug, I love these sort of comments, right? Just remember you've said this then throughout the season. Give Frank a chance. I don't know if you're listening. My issue is nowhere with Thomas Frank. I love Thomas Frank. I've got no issue with the manager. How can we buy players when we can't get rid of others? Chelsea seems to do it. Man United seems to do it. Arsenal are doing it. Liverpool are doing it. Why can they all do it and we can't seem to do it?
Hold on. Hang on, Sav. Jorginho's gone on it because he's out of contract. Partey's gone because he's out of contract. Sorry, who else has gone from Arsenal?
Yeah, but they don't have a squad bloated like ours.
United.
But that isn't that my point.
United are struggling to get rid of. But United are struggling to get rid of Highlands, Garnacho, etc., etc., etc.
And still signed Cunha and Mbeumo.
None of them. Well, evidently Ratcliffe's come out now and said we've run out of money.
Well, evidently where? Listen, Man United will watch we do this every year. Man United will make more signings. Does anyone on this panel think Man United won't still make more signings? Really, like
I think they got to sell before they buy.
I keep hearing this.
They're also their circumstances is completely different to Tottenham Hotspur.
Exactly.
One of the things you was moaning about last season is about not playing wages. Well, they've got guys' wages of £300,000+ a week. No wonder their problem to selling those is because of that. We don't have that problem. We have the problem of, there's all well and good of saying we can't sell players. Well, Atletico are interested in Romero. Was it Napoli or it was someone like that was interested in Bentancur? Fenerbahce was interested in Basuma. So there are people interested in our players. It's just funny how we can never get a deal across. I'm sorry. It's always an excuse. It's not always the bride, never the bridesmaid. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
No, sorry. Listen, Madrid, Atletico don't have the money that Spurs want for Romero. Simple.
Hang on, Lupo. Again, I hear this all the time. Atletico Madrid have bought about 6 players this transfer window. Atletico Madrid are currently in talks with Renato Vega for £40 million from Chelsea, right? They've just bought.
Spurs aren't selling. Spurs won't sell Romero for £40 million.
So if you let me finish my sentence. Right? 40 million Renato Vega. Hang on, let me make sure I get this right. Let me go to Atletico Madrid. They've bought in 5 or 6 players this window, right? So why have they got the money for all these players but not Christian Romero?
Because he's not that high on their priority, obviously.
There you go. If he was high on the priority, wouldn't he be the one they're bringing in?
And his wages ain't stupid either, are they, from what we see? I mean, I don't know what he's going to ask for, but his wages ain't as high as a lot of other players you'd expect.
I just hear this all the time, though. No one's got any money. But right, so already this window, right? Already they've bought in Alex Buena, Johnny Cardoso, Thiago Almada, Matteo Ruggeri, Jan Musso, and they got Clement Longley on a free transfer. So already this window they've spent over 110 million. They're about to drop 40 million today. By the way, Romano's just said they're in club-to-club talks with Chelsea for Renato Vega. That's 150 million they've spent. So if you're telling me that they really, really wanted Christian Romero, how comes they've got the money for these footballers but not for our player? I just feel like we're making excuses at every single turn as to why we can't move.
No, you're right. Everybody, there's no excuses. No excuses at all.
Why is it an excuse?
It's not an excuse, Ian. We can't keep excusing it. You know everything's slow at the club, man. You can't.
Sorry. Spurs probably want around 70 million. Spurs want 70 million for Romero. It looks like they're not prepared to pay it.
What about all the other players, Ian? What about the other players?
What about the other players? Maybe the other players don't want to go.
Why can't?
Listen, Palmeiras, there's 2 Brazilian clubs that want Richie. He doesn't want to go.
They need to encourage it. They need to encourage it. They need to say, look, time's up.
Hang on, hasn't this turned into now players going out? The whole point of this was, you said we can't get rid of players because we can't bring players in because no one's going. The other clubs seem to bring players in even if no one's going. And then they do all their business in getting out. Man United, so far as I'm aware, guys, as far as I'm aware, please tell me if I'm wrong, other than Rashford, who signed for Barcelona yesterday, and by the way, that was on a loan, right? That was on a loan. They didn't get 40, 50 million for him. That was on a loan. So far, they've made no money from Rashford. I'm going to say no, I don't know, probably a 10 million fee. I don't know. They've no money for Rashford, Garnacho, Højlund, Anthony, and Sancho. So far, none of those 5 forwards have gone, as far as I'm aware, guys. Right? Plus, they got Xerxes and Diallo, so they got 7 forwards. Hasn't stopped them going and get Cunha and Mbuemo, has it? Aren't Cunha and Mbuemo Man United footballers ready to play? So why are Man United, who are not in Europe, not in the Champions League, why are they able to bring players in when I'm hearing that they're broke, but Tottenham Hotspur can't bring in players and we're in the Champions League and we're not broke, we're rich? Like, there always seems to be an excuse. I'm just getting a bit bored of it.
It's that thin line, I think, yeah. Certain things happen, whether it's in football or whatever. And for me, there's that very thin line between an excuse and a reason. Some people take it that far that it becomes an excuse. Other things, you know what, it sounds like a solid reason. I can't make it right, but it is a reason why things are happening. And I just don't think we even know the excuses or the reasons at the moment. When it comes to Man U, at the end of the day, they're still Man U. They're still, if not the biggest, the second biggest club on the planet. And I did say that even if they don't get in the Champions League and they don't win that Europa Cup, they are still going to buy players that they want and get up there. Yeah, I think they got a bit of an issue with things, but they get what they want. Man U usually do get the sort of players that they want.
I wouldn't mind being broke and spending 150 million.
What's that?
I wouldn't mind being broke and spending 150 million.
But the thing is, I hear this all the time from people that seem to think they know every club's finances. I heard this about the Italian teams. There's no money in Italy. Everyone in Italy is buying players. Milan, Inter Milan, Napoli, Parma, Atalanta. They're all buying footballers, and I'm hearing that there's no money.
Not massive money.
Well, okay, so where are they all spending money from then? How are they all buying
I'm just
players?
saying, they haven't got massive money to what they would usually have for the size of their clubs.
Sure,
Some of them.
Why are they all buying players then?
Check the money they're spending. They ain't going out buying massive players.
No,
they're actually doing a bit of scouting.
Sure, but these clubs have got money. When I hear all the time, like Lubo's categorically said there, man, you haven't got any money. Well, Man U just dropped 70 million on Mbuemo, 65 million on Cunha. Like we're talking about 140 million pounds has been dropped on 2 footballers, and we're talking about this club has got no money. Look, by the way, I'm not saying I want to be Man U.
No, I don't think that's always an excuse, though, isn't it? And without being no disrespect to
James, your voice is... James, your connection's gone. Your connection's gone. You sound like a Dalek. You sound like a Dalek. And by the way, this wasn't about, oh my God, we must sell Romero. But the point was, my whole point was that when I'm hearing that these clubs can't afford our players, well, they seem to be able to go out there and doing other bits. Are we reckoning our players are too much money? When you look in the transfer market, are we asking too much for a player with 2 years left on his contract? I don't know. Dan, you're right. Danalist, you're right. We've got to find a way by hook or crook to squeeze some players out the club.
Look, this is what should be happening, right? Frank should be having conversations with these players that he doesn't want at the club, right? And then say, look, we've got to move you on. You're not part of the plans. You're going to be put on the transfer list. And then that's it, right? And then that's how it has to work, right? Am I wrong here? We've got to be ruthless. The club at some point needs to start changing how it kind of deals with all of these transfers, especially ones going out, coming in. I think there needs to be a massive shift. And at the moment, it doesn't look like much is changing.
Yeah, it's look, by the way, it's easy to sit here and say this. It's the 22nd of July. I just think that there was that little bit of me that thought, just for once. And by the way, it might happen. As I said, Dan's. It might happen. We might get to the end of this week and we've gone, boom, boom. There's 2 signings in and we go, okay, brilliant. We've got a new left winger. We've got a new midfielder. Brilliant. But everything just seems so bloody slow and procrastinated. Everything.
Is that better, mate? Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Much better, mate. Much better.
So what I was saying is, the thing is, people that are saying, oh, well, we need to see these players and blah, 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 so on and so on, give it time, are going to be the first ones screaming Levy out at the start of the season with excuses, saying Daniel Levy didn't give Frank the best opportunity because he didn't have his players on pre-season tour. Daniel Levy, X, Y, Z. Like, you know, they're the people, including myself, have done it before. You know, you either demand now and get what you want now so you can build over the pre-season. Otherwise, what's the point in pre-season?
Agreed. That's a good point James brings up, guys. Isn't pre-season the time where you build for your season? Surely we don't want to be bringing players in once the season started, and then because what the excuse will be, James? What the excuse will be is, you've got to remember though they didn't have a pre-season. Someone did it the other day with Solanke. Someone said, you've got to remember he didn't have any pre-season for Spurs, you know, so give him another year. Are we going to do this with every footballer? Are we going to do this with everyone? Bring them in late in the window and then wonder why they've not hit the ground running?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing for me is, like, even like the Morgan Gibbs-White thing, either get the deal done or move on. I think that we're like tiptoeing around it rather than just get the deal done or move on. He would have gone up to their owner and he would have said, look, what you just did there is so disrespectful. I want 65 million now. And you can have that player signed, sealed, done today, gone. And Daniel Levy's probably going, well, actually, I've triggered this, so I'm going to long it out 3 weeks. That 5 million could be the difference in a whole pre-season with the squad, fit and firing, first day of the season, go, bang, first 3 points on the team sheet. Or it could mean he coming in last minute, trying to squeeze into a system that you don't really know, right, we get a draw there. All right, the next game we get a draw or a win or whatever. And you could be 4-6 points down before you even know it. So surely that is worth just getting it done, regardless of the issue. If you're a big club and he's not your big club, if that's the guy that you want, get it done or move on. Don't keep longing it out.
James, say if we don't get it over the line, right? It'll be interesting to see if we go to another kind of attacking midfielder, right? What do you reckon?
No chance. I think that they found out this was a good deal because he's definitely worth more than 60, in my opinion. And that is what is intriguing Daniel Levy into this deal. I'm not saying that he doesn't think he's a good player, but I think Daniel Levy gets a thrill of getting somebody for a good deal, doesn't he? Like let's not care.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yeah.
So you don't think we'll get someone else then, guys? If say that deal don't go through, we're not going to be bringing in another type of player like him, because that wouldn't make sense, right?
We've got to, otherwise we look like a laughing stock.
Yeah.
Look at
You'd expect it to be planned.
Look what happens. Look what happens when Chelsea don't get a player they want.
Yeah.
Or City don't get a player they want. They've got another one ready to go. All right, City. All right, we didn't get Florian Wirtz. You know what? We'll concentrate on Rayan Cherki. Do you know what I mean? Like, these clubs have lists of players. We're sitting here for 2 weeks going, will he, won't he, with a Gibbs-White? And listen, I love Gibbs-White. You all know I'm a big fan of Gibbs-White. But that shouldn't hold up our window. If you can't get Gibbs-White, get someone else. There's other footballers.
That's what it looks like, though, right? If everything's just it's frozen, right? Just because of this Morgan Gibbs-White deal, nothing else is going on. I mean, there's talks of Palhinha. Do you think there's any truth in that, guys?
I hope so.
I hope so.
I think there's sense with a loan. I mean, if there was ever, guys, a deal, just quickly go back to the Palhinha bit that Lubo and I started with. By the way, guys, there's 778 of you in here, so big up to each and every one of you. The like ratio is absolutely appalling. 170 likes. We should be on 400. Smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my guests, the Dan List. Please subscribe to the Hotspur Hood. And please subscribe to Lubo, who now has a channel, the Spurs 5. He's now part of one of the biggest 5 wankers on YouTube. That's how we're going to be known now. Biggest 5 wankers who are too scared to grow their own channel, even though 3 people on the 5 have built their channels to 20,000 plus. We're too scared to build a channel. Crazy times. Please subscribe to the Spurs 5. I'm putting the link in the chat. The link is in right now to the Spurs 5 at 11:58. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you were subscribed to Henry Wright TV, then you don't need to. Yes, we weren't exposed. I'm going to just say this. We haven't been exposed by anybody. There was no hiding it. I think we've been very open with everyone, right, guys? We bought Henry Wright TV off of Henry Wright. It's no secret. Didn't try and hide it. We were pretty sure people would work out when they saw 23,000 subscribers that they know we didn't start the channel today. It was a business opportunity. We took it, Lubo. That's where we are at. No secret, no exposing. We're not trying to ruin any other smaller channels. If anything, I like to think I helped smaller channels. By the way, I was a small channel. I didn't wake up and have a fucking 19,000 subscribers. So everyone that's moaning about us, do your own thing, talk your own football, relax. Anyway, subscribe to the Spurs 5. Guys, Palhinha, if ever, sorry, I had to get that in. The things I'm seeing about us, how we've been exposed and what we've lied about, and I use AI and I'm like, I couldn't, guys, I don't understand technology. Anyway, Palhinha, if ever there was a deal that screamed Daniel Levy and Tottenham Hotspur, surely Palhinha on loan for a season. Surely that is the greatest deal of all time, isn't it?
I think we said this before when we spoke about it, and I spoke about it to a couple of others. Like, if we're not going to buy him, because he don't seem to fit in the sort of thing that we go for and buy as such, down to his age, get him on a loan. And I do think it could actually be as simple as that, because Bayern Munich definitely don't seem to want him. It hasn't worked over there for him. By the look of it, I can't speak for him as such, but I think he'd be quite interested to come back to the Premier League as well. And I think for me, that one, it looks like quite a simple deal. As long as we're willing to pay his wages, put a loan on for him. And personally, I think Bayern Munich would accept it. I think that's one of the more simple deals that we could actually get through.
Why ain't it done then? Why ain't it been done? What's the hold up?
You tell me. You tell me. I don't know.
Get him in.
But it does seem like that's quite a simple deal.
If we go and get him in now, that will be the question, Dan. Won't it, Danlist? That will be if we go and get him in now. The question I'll have is, yeah, great, really good deal, but why couldn't this been done a month ago? Like, we heard a month ago that Bayern Munich were willing to listen to offers for Palhinha. Why didn't we go boom and?
I know people don't want to hear this because it's not probably what suits their narrative. But if I'm given a choice over Morgan Gibbs-White or Palhinha, I'm taking Palhinha. I think he's one of the best in the world at doing what he does. He is so good at just breaking up the play. He's good in the air. I just think he's perfect for what Frank wants. Like, I'm not taking that away from Gibbs-White because he's fantastic as well. But I just think if I could pick one, he is the most important. And as for a loan, that's ridiculous. They're talking of 25 million euros and they're going, no, let's loan him. Like, really? Just get him over the line. Just get him over the line for experience to what he could teach people like Archie Gray. Like, that is going to be worth more than that money, in my opinion.
It's a no-brainer,
Shouldn't
man.
it be both?
Just get it in.
Why should it be? Why should it be Gibbs-White or Palhinha? They're different footballers. Shouldn't it be both? Shouldn't we be buying a central midfield partnership? One on, I mean, if you said one on loan, right, and the other one's 60 million to build a brand new central midfield.
Oh, I agree with you. I just know what Daniel Levy is like. I want both. Them two. The thing that annoys, you know what? We're talking. Say Palhinha's 30 million and Gibbs-White is 70 million. You're talking of 100 million. But in my opinion, that turns that team from, yeah, they're beatable, to, hold on, we've got to be prepared here. Gibbs-White, Maddison, Kudos, Kulu can do a job. Hopefully there's something there. You're kind of then going, not saying that they are, but if there's a big club, say we play Inter Milan or someone like that in the Champions League, they're going, right, what have we got to do here? Well, Maddison, Gibbs-White and Kudos, players, we need to be on our game here. When we hit on the break, when there's Palhinha, he's going to be mopping up everything. What can we do to beat that? Like, there's questions. At the moment,
don't think there's any questions. There's kudos. We marked kudos out of the game, and maybe Madison, we've won that game.
It's just frustrating when you can see that there's players to buy out there. And like I said, some of them look like they could be significantly more simple than others. And again, that Palhinha one is a no-brainer for me. But on the other side of that, a lot of us have been screaming about that we need a DM or a 6, whatever you want me to call him, for a good year and a half, nearly 2 years now. But I think we don't even know how Frank's going to play yet. I don't think he's going to use the 3 at the back. I thought he would at first, but by the players we have got and who it looks like we're going for, maybe he's not going to be playing 3 at the back. I don't even know what tactics or style we're going to use, basically.
Who did we see at the weekend, guys? Who did we see at the weekend playing left back?
Ben Davies.
Again, it's just like, what's going on? You know, come on.
I actually thought he was one of our better players as well.
I mean,
Ben Davies, get rid of the doggy.
But that's what we're playing with, right? We need a left back, right? Another one. We need another left back. Cover for a doggy, or someone to compete with him, someone to challenge him. You know, Ben Davies, come on. You know, it's good to be around the dressing room, and that's it, really. You know, we shouldn't be seeing him next season.
I mean, with a doggy, AC Milan are meant to be interested in him and paying 50 million for it. They haven't basically spent a penny yet, and they've got a lot of money to spend. So maybe they could pay 40 million for that. I mean, they've got an income of about 70 million. They haven't actually spent money. So maybe they would actually go for him. But then if we go and get rid of him, I think that's maybe 2 players then we need to cover as a wing back or a left back.
Yeah.
Or you could class Spence there to take the place, whatever. There is a lot of work to do there. And who are we going to keep? Who are we going to get? We just don't have a clue how things are going at the moment, even down to the tactics we're going to use.
You know, all the young players, guys, all the kids, you know, what's happening with them? Who's going to be involved? Who's being loaned out? There's a lot to sort out. Yeah, time's running out.
No,
I think that there needs to be a...
Dan, time's not running out. It's July the 22nd, not August the 22nd. Time is not.
We go on pre-season tour next week.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Pre-season tour. What does that mean?
Sorry,
it doesn't matter.
Lubo, this isn't your first season being a football fan. Of course it matters.
If they don't come in, it's not.
We're
talking like it's doomsday here. Come on, guys. If Palhinha gets signed this week, Gibbs White gets sorted out.
Kidding me?
Hang on. Let me hear me out.
A minute without talking about Daniel Levy and doomsday. And
no, I'm not talking about Levy. Levy's not involved in any of this. I haven't brought up Levy.
Oh, so that's why you're happy that we're doing what we normally do, because it's under a different umbrella.
No.
If this was Levy, you'd be all over this like a rash.
No. He's got a point.
No,
if this was Levy,
same old Spurs, based on 25 years. No. Based on 25 years of experience, when have we ever gone out and got everybody in before a pre-season tour? We've never done it.
Everybody.
It's no different than any other year.
But that's been all down to Levy, isn't it?
Ain't that the problem? That's what you've killed Levy for every season, and yet because
it's
Levy, it's acceptable.
And we're doing it the same way.
If they let me ask you something. If we get Palhinha in this week and Gibbs White gets sorted in the next 3 or 4 days, is it all doomsday? Is it all terrible? Is time's running out?
But does anyone believe that that's going to happen? Lubo. I've sat here and said
it may happen. It may happen.
You asked a question. Hang on, you asked a question. I've sat here and said, literally, you boys all heard me say this. If we get to the end of the week, or by the time we travel to South Korea, and we're just using Palhinha, for example, but a Palhinha type and Morgan Gibbs White through the door, you know what I'd turn around and say, guys? Fair play. Go on then. You got 3 brand new first team players that slot into the 11. Go on. Happy. Now get a couple more between now and the end of the window. But the problem is, Lubo, as it stands, we're going away with the exact same team as last year and kudos.
Yeah.
And you have killed Daniel Levy for this.
Yep.
For 25 years. And this is my point. if that sort of window wasn't good enough for Daniel Levy, I'm not saying it is Vin. I don't know. I'd love to know who's running the club right now. But if it's not good enough there, wouldn't the whole point of it shifting to Vinay that we don't see that? Isn't that the whole point, guys? That if you were just going to see the same window, why is Daniel Levy moved away from football operations? Apparently, like it doesn't make sense.
It's basically like what I said earlier. And on this one, I've got to agree with you on what you said to Ian there. He personally believes that Levy has nothing to do with it anymore. Fine, that's his belief. I believe Levy still has a good say in what goes on. I don't think it's 100% down to him anymore, but I still think he definitely has a big say in it. And if this was down to the belief that this is purely down to Daniel Levy, certain people would be going off their head. They'd be kicking TVs out. Now all of a sudden that it's not totally down to Levy, it's like, okay, calm down. Things will be all right. Now, I'm not going to start panicking yet because I just know how Tottenham, it's just no different really to how we've done things. But then we was all saying this about, 2 weeks ago, whatever, give or take a day. And then in a matter of a night, or a day, should I say, literally everything changed and it looked like we kicked into gear. And then all of a sudden it looks like we stalled the car again. And we definitely ain't had the AA to come out to sort that car out by the look of it. Again, we don't know what's going on in the background, but we can only judge by what we're seeing at the moment. And we saw something happen, and then it just went totally dead again. And one of the deals is just up and down. Is it going to work? I still think we get Morgan Gibbs-White. I just think it's Forest being awkward. But again, if this was totally down to Daniel Levy and people thought this was totally down to Daniel Levy, I think there'd be significantly more people out there going off their head instead of saying, no, let's just let it roll as such. Whereas I've got the attitude with Spurs of like, we are who we are, and as long as we get it done, I'll be happy at the end. But it's not necessarily the way I want it to be done.
So can I just read you what, so Alistair Gold and Football London have just written this, right? So this is on the Football London website about João Palhinha. So if you can just bear with me 1 second, guys, while I read this to you. This, for me, sums up Tottenham Hotspur in a nutshell. You'll see why. Says, the one thing Tottenham must do before making João Palhinha transfer move. It's fucking unbelievable. There is interest from the North London club in the former Fulham midfielder, but the conditions and timing would have to be right. You know, like the conditions being that we need a DM and the timing being right that we're in a transfer window. You know, like those sort of things. Sorry for being facetious. Here we go. Tottenham would need to get at least one central midfielder out the door before pushing through any interest in signing Palhinha from Munich. Spurs are looking to improve Thomas Frank's squad this summer for a season that brings with it a return to the Champions League. After last summer, blah, 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 blah. Tottenham are targeting more ready-made players this time around to ensure their new head coach can get off to a faster start across all competitions. They have already brought in blah, 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 blah. We've got another player of Premier League experience that Tottenham have an interest in is former man Palhinha, who moved to Bayern a year ago. The 30-year-old's 46 million switch to Germany has not been successful so far, with just 6 Bundesliga starts and only 9 across all competitions. Palhinha was not helped in November last year when he suffered a torn muscle. Blah, 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 blah. Spurs' interest in Palhinha goes back to his Fulham days, where he impressed across 79 appearances for Fulham. Football London understands that while there is that interest in the experienced Bayern man, he is one of a number of candidates Spurs are looking at as a new defensive midfielder for the squad. There would first need to be at least one departure from an area of a squad that currently contains Basuma, Bentancur, Bergvall, Sarr and Guehi, while Maddison and Kulu can also play in deeper roles. Basuma and Bentancur are both approaching the final 11 months of their contracts, although it was notable that Frank mentioned wanting to fit the Uruguayan into his team in his first interview. There's been plenty of talk for a new deal, yada, 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 yada. So the upshot is we've signed loads of mediocre crap in midfield. I can't wait for Lubo to dial back in. This is why I didn't want crap like Archie Gray in the squad. If we need to sell midfielders to bring in top players, this is why you don't sign crap midfielders. Sorry, I'm fuming.
My question is, why do we need to sell a midfielder to sign Palhinha, but we don't need to sell a midfielder to sign Morgan Gibbs-White? Does Morgan Gibbs-White not play midfield?
Or maybe that's just where that deal's pretty much done on the side and they want to get rid of another before they bring in another midfielder. It can work both ways. We don't know.
Just more
Just think
excuses,
for
isn't
that,
it? More
yeah.
excuses from Alistair. Alistair. It's just more, just waffle. I mean, it's just like,
I don't
come
blame
on,
Alistair
man.
Gold though, Dad. I
No, I
blame
don't
Alistair
blame
Gold.
him. He's reporting
but-
it, but it's just same old rubbish, man. It's just nothing ever changes, does it, at this club, man? It's so frustrating here. It's just sitting there like, what are they doing? What is this club doing, right? We talk about changing this. They've got to, make changes, at the board level. Vinay's in, keeping with Lange. What is different right now? Nothing has changed. We signed one first-team player. At this moment in time, it's looking like the same window as last summer. Look, I do think we will bring them in, but it's just the pace of it. It's too slow.
I mean, I think the earlier you get it done, the better, because then it gives players a little bit of time to get to know each other, get a bit of sync on the pitch with the system, with the manager, everything else. I personally think that's the way it should get done. But we don't ever seem to do it that way.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 3 weeks until the PSG game? Is it 3 weeks?
Yeah. Not long.
Something like that.
So, say for example, we go and get I don't know, Palhinha. He's going to have to move back into England, get all his family across, settle down. That's going to be a hectic week. Then he's getting on the plane and flying halfway across the world, doing that, which is going to be a go. In the process, learning a new formation, new manager, new teammates, new everything. To then come back and play against PSG in a cup. So again, it almost feels like you've been given an opportunity to succeed and we've dropped the ball again. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's all doom and gloom, but for me personally, if you want to give Frank the best opportunity of winning, then you need to act now. And I don't believe that we can beat PSG, but if we had our squad ready to go, you never know. You never know. And then to win that trophy before a season starts, the season's going to be completely different. It is one of those for me. It's now or not now or never, because that's a bit extreme. But I just think for the best chance of success, you have to act now.
What I don't get with this is, again, we're talking about we have to get rid of a midfielder to bring in a midfielder. I'm sorry. Why are Chelsea able to have about 4,000 players on the books then, but we can't have a bloated midfield?
Yeah.
Like, surely, if we were a big club, we're bringing in Palhinha and we're saying to Archie Gray, we want to loan you out. Get him off the books for a season. Surely, not just him. Yeah, we can tell Basuma, got to go. Don't want you playing. Bentancur, whoever it is. But why does no one else have to really, really sell to buy? Like, I'm just a bit.
It's back to that point again.
Deflated by this, guys. Like, if the deal is there, and this isn't just about Palhinha, by the way. If a deal is there, we're the only football club that seem to talk about, but the timing has to be right and the details need to be right. When Chelsea are linked with Xavi Simons, I don't see all this nonsense. I don't see all this nonsense when Arsenal are talking about bringing in, forget what you think of the player, when Arsenal are bringing in Norgard and Madueke and Kepa and Zubimendi and Gyökeres. I'm not seeing anyone go, oh, but the deal, it needs, they're just doing the deals.
You could just imagine it, couldn't you? And Kunku, boss, what's going on? You're gone, mate.
Yeah.
Why you live with Simmons? Like, what are you talking to? Like, I'm in charge here. Do what you got to do. Leave, no problem. It's just like, yeah, but what about Bergman? What about... No, this is what I said about Son. I'm sorry, I said this about Son 2 years ago, and everyone goes, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. You're negative. No, he's a legend. But not at one point did I say he wasn't a legend. What I said is he ain't good enough anymore. And now slowly people going, oh, has he lost his pace? Oh, has he lost... Yes, he has.
Yeah,
but
he did that 2 years ago.
Yeah, you can't get over the fact that your love for Son over the actual value he brings to the squad. He doesn't bring any value to the squad anymore. So we just keep him because we like him rather than actually keep him because he's good for the club. Okay, well then don't cry when we finish 17th.
It's another problem. It's another problem.
We're very emotional at this club on the fan base. A lot of people, they're quite willing to do things more over sentimental things than what we want. But Savva, with what you said, you used that word again. Should. Yeah, we should do this and this at Spurs. Why can Chelsea do it like that? Why can other teams do it like that? Why can other teams do it as they play? We should be doing it like that. We don't. And that's basically all there is to it. And then we sit here and try and come up with reasons which turn into excuses, or excuses that turn into reasons, because there's that thin line. It's all good. We can sit here and say we should do this, we should do that, we should be doing it like this, this, and this. I just think everybody who sits here knows we don't. And I think a few of us just had a bit of hope put into us, basically, with all of a sudden we got Kudus and Morgan Gibbs-White, how it looked at the time. Like, yes, that's how it's done. That's how it's meant to be done. That's how we should be doing it. And then it basically went arse over tit sort of thing, and it went a very Spursy way, with whatever the reason or the excuses, whatever you want to give it. But we're back to using that word again. Should, but we don't. And we all know that. It was like when we spoke to Ian about things, and he said, and it's been about Archie Gray, and we should have got another pre-prepared midfielder, but we don't. It's all good sitting here saying should, but we don't. Does anybody actually expect anything different? We do, but expect different.
Say though, Dan, right? For all those saying patience and it doesn't matter when they come in and blah, blah, blah. If that was the way to do it, why are none of the serial winning clubs, why do none of them act like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be fair. I'm not saying you said this, by the way, but in the last 20 years, City, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, biggest 5 clubs in the country, right? They've won the most trophies between them, if I'm not wrong. I say if I'm not wrong, I'm not wrong, right? Those 5 clubs, right? What do they all do? Now, people will go, oh, look at Liverpool last year, an anomaly. An anomaly last year was Liverpool signing Chiesa and only Chiesa. Other than that, what do these clubs serially do? They serially buy players. They serially get it done early, right? I'm not saying every deal. I'm not saying there are no deals concluded in the last month of the window. But more often than not, when did Chelsea wait to the last 4 weeks of the window to start doing their business? Yeah, when does City go, oh, we won't do anything through June and July. We'll wait for the end of August, right? These clubs win. These clubs go into seasons prepared. They get off to good starts. And I don't understand. This isn't a Sunday league club. When we're like, oh, well, if they miss the first 3 or 4 games, it don't matter. It fucking matters. Get off to a good start. Yeah? Get your team ready, settled to go for the season. Get off to a good start. And guys, surely this isn't a football thing, but confidence breeds confidence. Get off to a good start. Kick on from that. And those teams are the teams that end up having a good year. So all of this, oh, we're panicking. It's only the 22nd of July. Come on, guys. Like, we've been here before. And I hope I'm wrong. To round out my rant, guys, I want to be wrong. I say this every day on my channel. I want to be wrong.
We all hope. I want
this afternoon them Spurs to go double signing Palhinha and Gibbs-White, and I'll shut up and say fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
100%, man. We hope we're wrong. Yeah, you're right.
Will we?
We want it to change, right? We want to see some action this week, yeah? Before they go on that tour. What is it, Tuesday? We've got some days left. Come on. Get these signings in. Palhinha, whoever else, get them into the squad ASAP. Now, guys, what do you think of the expectations they're setting Frank for this season? They're very quiet about this. What's their expectations for Frank? What do they want him to achieve in his first season? Guys, have you heard anything? I haven't.
For me, just before going on to that, like, do we not deserve a little bit either? Like, let's be honest. We were just told by the last manager that we threw every single home game and league game away since December. I'd say lucky enough, I didn't go to any of those. But can you imagine that? Yeah, I've paid 2-3 grand for my season ticket. We've thrown the last 20 games away, and now we're being linked with like the merry-go-round that it goes round and round again. Do we not deserve a little bit of commitment like our fans show to the board and to the club? Do we not deserve?
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
To actually have like, maybe deserve the wrong word, but do we not deserve something like, yeah, here you go, boys. Like, that's what we're getting this season. Yeah, new coach, couple of new players. We're going to build from there. I'm not asking for 8 new players. I'm asking for 2 or 3 first teamers. I just feel like, yeah, well, it's one rule for one and another for another. Imagine if we didn't renew any of our season tickets because we didn't know what we was going to get. Like, the whole club would be in turmoil. It's not fair.
But James, on the other side of that, yeah, I'm agreeing with what you're saying, by the way. But on the other side of that, why do we deserve it? Why are we entitled to it? When a lot of Spurs fans were willing to say, and accept that we threw the season, whether we did or didn't, but say that,
Good point.
and it was worth the
Good point.
cup, they'd still go out and said they'd buy season tickets to throw the league and win another cup again. So what do we deserve? Maybe a few of us who've got a different, but in general, what do they deserve? If there's still a good, how many thousands in there with season tickets who are willing to ignore the season just to get another cup, then why do we deserve anything?
Well, I think maybe deserve is a wrong word, but there may be. It's one of those.
But I get where you're coming from, by the way.
If I go to an old lady's house and I know she's absolutely minted, do I just take the piss and tear an arse out of it because I can? Like, is that what I should be doing then? But just because I can, I will just get as much profit as possible and do as little as possible. That's what he's doing. So maybe deserve isn't even. Maybe we don't even deserve it.
Can I just caveat live on this show? That is not what James Flower does, by the way. This was just an example. That is not what James Flower does, just so you know.
Absolutely. But it's true, though, isn't it? Because they would be a customer of mine and they could be in a position where they have to use me. I'm the only person available today and they've got water coming through their ceiling, whatever. Annually, he knows that the customers he's got, they ain't going anywhere else. So he's fleecing them for every penny possible and providing as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, whether it's deserved or not, there needs to be some kind of like mutual respect and say, you know what, yeah, you've done that, fair enough. Like, we've upped our tickets, you've turned up every game that we threw away, we've done X, Y, Z. We had a parade, there was 200, 300, 400,000, whatever the number is. You guys are proper supporters here. Well done. Like we'll show you something back. No.
Yeah. And in a business, James, they're really going to do that, aren't they? Like, fair play, like, and everything. We're going to go and do this and that. Or they're going to sit there as a business and say, you mugs are keep coming back and spending the money in the bloody stadium because you're mugs. So we're just going to keep mugging you off because you let us mug you off. So I disagree on that. In that aspect, we don't
being in a business myself, that'll only work for so long. That won't.
Maybe in a little business like yours compared to Tottenham, yeah, maybe you have to keep the customer happy, and in a lot of things, you do have to keep a customer happy, even in the big ones, because otherwise they stop buying your stuff. I mean,
but there was people stop buying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there was millions and millions, but there was people stop buying stuff.
Yeah, but again,
if you look at the numbers, last season was the least we've sold.
Yeah, and he still made a bloody profit, and the club still made a profit because the majority, they still go and buy it. It's like me, I go start making things and whatever. I need to do it, same as you do with a smaller business. You need to keep your fan base, all your customers happy, because otherwise you ain't getting no money in there. Whereas at Tottenham, do you know what? I treat you all like a bunch of mugs because 90% of you will still come and spend that money. I will now spend less money and make more money because you idiots will keep coming back and spending the money and buying the season tickets and doing this and that. So on a business side of it, you're talking about morals. You're talking about what should be. Again, that word. You're talking about how a fan base or customers should be used. But we are idiotic enough, a majority at Spurs, to say, yeah, I'll still go and buy a season ticket if we throw the season away and finish 17th and we win another cup. And if that is how you're willing to get treated, I think when you always had that fella in the group, I mean, that you could basically turn around and say, there's the money, go get the fags. And he'd always go and do it. Why? Because he was muggish enough to go and do it. And then everyone would give him a, like, here you go, I want this and this and this. Next thing you know, he went round the shop with 30 quid and had to buy about 4 packets of fags, this and this and everything else. Why? Because he let it get done to him. The minute people start turning round, and this has to be a big majority, and say, we ain't accepting that crap, then things might have to change. But until then, you're talking about morals. You're talking about what should be, what shouldn't be.
I'm talking about both, because there was people started to protest. There was people.
James, lay off. Seriously, mate, there was about call this one an opinion. There was about 2,500 there. Fair play, it got bigger. And the question I ask is, when it comes to the next protest, how big will it be? How many was there because they actually wanted Levy? How many people was there because they wanted Levy out and change at the club? But my question is, how many people were there because we were just in a shit position and we wanted Ange out and it looked down? Yeah, the next protests will show it. But the majority, high majority of this fan base, just let it happen and get on with it. So why would any businessman who can make money out of it not carry it on.
What I was going to say is, say there was only 2,500 people there. That's 2,500 people that have now avoided going in the shop. So that's a start. I'm not saying it's the be all and end all. I'm not saying it's not gonna.
But have they avoided going in the shop? Have they though? I'm seeing. Let's break this down. A lot of the people that protest pay for season tickets, have Spurs shirts, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but we're making out as though everyone that protests doesn't put money in. Everyone, all of us in some way, put money in. Like my money will be put in via, I'm guessing, via my Sky Sports subscription, which I'm guessing Spurs get a percentage of, right? That's how I think my money goes into them. I won't go to the club shop, right? I won't pay to go. If I want to go to games, I'm very lucky I've got contact, I can get tickets, right? But I won't pay to go into that stadium until things change. And what I mean by things change, sign 3 or 4 first-team players this window. Show us that you're actually serious. Show us that you're not just buying 18-year-old kids and charging 80, 90 quid a ticket to go to Tottenham. Because if I want to pay 80 quid, 90 quid ticket to go to Tottenham, I want to see David Silva. I want to see De Bruyne. I want to see Rodri, right? I don't want to pay 80, 90 quid. No offense to watch Brennan Johnson run down the right wing. I don't want to see 80, 90 quid to watch a washed-up Son. I don't want to pay 80, 90 quid to watch Archie Gray in midfield. Right? But I can. So I want. All right, sod it. One of the biggest 5 wankers on Spurs YouTube, right?
Be proud of it.
That's my point. I will pay however much it costs for anything if I'm getting the right deal. I.e., I go big on my TVs in my house because I love my TVs, right? I love my high definition. I love the color. I love the sound. I love the cinema aspect. So I go expensive because I know I'm getting quality, right? I know if I'm flush for a period of time, I'm going to shop for nicer food. If I'm struggling a bit in life at any point, I'll probably go a little bit cheaper, right? But if I'm going to Tottenham and I'm paying 80, 90 quid, whatever it is for a ticket to watch Tottenham play, plus the travel money to get there, plus the program, plus the drinks, plus the food. If I'm now spending 150, 200 quid on a day out, don't be mugging me off with crap footballers. That's why I won't put the money in. These people protest but put the money in. Now I get it. There's no right or wrong here, James. I get it. Like Stell makes a good point. Stell always makes a good point. He says but it's better to be able to protest from within the ground than from outside. So I get it. But there's no right or wrong to any of this, right? The whole protest piece. There's no right or wrong to it. How many people are going to protest now that we've just won a Europa League?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. With the protests, at the next protests, and I'm not saying they're bad. I was at them myself and I'd be at the next one, but I feel I'm there for the right reason. Personal opinion. And that is because I do want Levy out and I do want to change at the club sort of thing. Maybe this is already happening. But then you will see, in my opinion, only half, if you're lucky, of the protesters be there. Because we are that simple at Spurs and we are that muggy at Spurs that we get satisfied so easily at times. Okay, cup, brilliant. And now they sit back and more than half or 3/4 won't turn up, in my opinion. And
guys, I can tell you this.
How original the protests were.
Guys, I can tell you this much, there's not going to be ever enough people protesting. People just don't want to do it. Yeah, they just won't. They won't do it. I've spoken to many people. They love the club so much. They get behind them. Yes, they're not competitive, win enough stuff, but they're still there. They just choose not to want to take that route of protesting. And unfortunately, it's sad, but it's true. There's never going to be enough fans to protest. Obviously, please don't stop everybody who does, because I'm involved. I'm a bit similar to Savva. I don't put any money into the club, only from Sky TV. Very similar. And that's my personal choice. The club have no way do enough to, we're supposed to be a big club, right? Got a massive ground. Yeah. All the facilities, blah, blah, blah. But we never go out there and really, really show the ambition, right? We're all hoping this summer. And at this stage, nothing's changed. And until I see that ambition, until I see this club act a bit ruthless and really do all they can to win, then I'm not going to the ground. I'm not. And it's a shame, really, for me in the personal view, because, I'd love to take my boys there, my girls there. And then but I've just made a stand on it. I've made a stand. And until I see this change, that's what I'm doing. But again, back to my point, I just don't think there will be enough fans who want to protest. There just won't be ever.
Do you think
at this
that...
stage, what would it do? We've already heard that the clubs are in talks for investment with naming rights and possibly 25% share. What is it that they think the protests at this stage are going to do that's not already happening?
Do you also think that maybe we're rushing it and want it to happen yesterday, like we always do at Spurs, because we've been so dragged through it, and that there is a change going on, but it's going to take a couple of years to do it, and you're not going to see a change in 5 minutes?
Yeah, but there could be announcements and stuff made and bits and pieces. I think it's not being impatient when you wait 25 years. Like that's the complete opposite, to be honest.
Yeah, but if there is a change going on, then maybe we have to sit back and accept that there is a change going on, but it ain't going to happen yesterday. And like it or lump it, you're going to have to wait.
It's been going on for a long time, though, Dan. I mean, even the
Well,
stadium.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it has, because we've been hearing about they're linked with all Americans and everything the day the stadium opened, and we're still waiting. So
that one I totally agree with. But when have we heard in the past 25 years that when I say there's going to be a change at Spurs, i.e., a new chairman, this and that, possibly new owners, and it looks like the whole system's starting to move? When has there been that?
Maybe.
So maybe
I'm a bit
it is
long in the tooth now. I'm like, I'll see.
I agree. I agree. I'm just looking at the other side. I agree with you. I agree. I want it to happen yesterday.
I think the problem is a lot of fans think that the whole kind of naming rights and buying a stake in a football club is like a football transfer, player transfer. These are long 6 month, 1 year deals. These are deals that go on forever. The worst thing that probably happened was any sort of news being dropped about it, because everyone then goes, oh my God, it's happening right now. It must. And then when we don't hear anything for 10 days, we'll go, yeah, see, nothing's happening. Deals like that, you're never going to really know the ins and outs. No one's going to leak that. Like, no one's going to leak the ins and outs of that deal. Like the value, it's just not going to happen. Just quickly, by the way, talking about leaks, you lot, there are 770 of you in here and 265 likes. Come on, people. Can we smash that like button a little bit? Surely if we got 770, we should have 500 likes. Come on, people. I need to do a couple of super chats. Just before I do, I just love comments like this. I love comments like this. Soul Sniper Gaming. 1, I don't support Newcastle United. I don't care what Newcastle United are doing. I don't support Newcastle United. Right? 2, Newcastle United, don't need as much surgery to their squad as we do. Newcastle have a brilliant midfield. They've got one of the world's best strikers. They've brought a Langer in. They've got a top winger in Anthony Gordon, and they're good at the back, right? So, no, please don't do this. What have you Newcastle done? Second of all, Spurs are not in the same league as the other 4 clubs. Equating Spurs to the other 4 is deluded. Again, I hate people like this that don't get what we're saying. We moved into the brand new stadium, paid the big money because we were told that we wanted to try and compete, to try and catch up. I'm not equating us to that top 4, but the whole point is surely that's got to be in our sights, isn't it? 100%. Surely we've got to be looking and going, we want to get to the next level.
Yeah.
I've never said, Soul Sniper, we should buy the same players as them. You know, guys, I've said that. What I'm saying is go after our targets that are achievable and get them through the door. We shouldn't be after the same targets as Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. I don't believe we'll get them. That doesn't stop us getting our targets. So when people like you say that, you're not listening. You do this every day in my channel. You're not listening, my friend. No one said we are the top 4, right? But if we want to compete with them, if we want to get up there, then we've got to start making better moves than we're making. But fine, people like you keep making excuses. Oh, Newcastle haven't done a lot. That's fine then. Don't worry, we don't need to. Surely, sorry, I'm annoyed by this. Surely the fact that Newcastle and let's say Villa, who I think I put us in the bucket with them guys, I put us in a bucket with Man United, Newcastle and Villa, right? In that 4 behind the big 4, right? We can talk about that in a minute, but surely if Villa and Newcastle aren't doing a lot, isn't that the time to strike? Surely if those clubs are not doing anything, we go, right, now's our time to move. I don't understand this constant excuse for not wanting to be better. Big up to Matthew Mitten, who's become a new member. Big up, Matthew. We'll have a members-only show probably on Thursday, but keep a lookout. Big up to you, Matthew. Really appreciate that. Thank you for becoming a member. Jamie Allen said, in my opinion, Bayern are probably waiting to see if they can sell Palhinha first, and a loan deal will probably happen near the end of the window. Well, maybe. But even if you've got to buy him for 25 million, it's not a lot of money, is it? In football terms, 25 million for a midfielder like that. I agree, Jamie, but surely this is where we've got to be better in the market. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Playful Spurs. Big up to you. A member for 6 months. So big up, guys. Hope you're well. Really appreciate your hard work, Savva. Thank you. Thank you. It's quite nice when people appreciate something other than calling me a wank all the time. For me, we just have to get Morgan Gibbs-White sorted ASAP, and definitely Palhinha for me. Look, the Morgan Gibbs-White one is out of our hands as it stands. I think people have got to understand that. The Premier League are involved. This is not in our hands. But Nottingham Forest are not talking to us. This is now at the moment, we're waiting to see if the Premier League say, yes, you've done nothing wrong, you can have him, or no, you can't. Right? So I agree, though, and I agree with Palhinha. And Sanctuary 7 said, saw your debate with the West Ham fan. This was on Sun Sport. You got robbed. Well, it didn't help that the judge was a West Ham fan also. So I knew I was going to lose that. I told them I'd lose it 3-2. And it is what it is. Big up, Sanctuary. Really appreciate you, my man. By the way, who sent me this? I can see a Nottingham Forest thing. Here we go. So apparently Douglas Luiz's agent, Kia Jarabkian, is expected to travel to the UK today for talks with Nottingham Forest. So Douglas Luiz possibly to Nottingham Forest. Just putting it out there, guys. Guys, that comment I brought up earlier about the top four, isn't that the point, that we're not there yet, but we've got to try and close that gap? Isn't that the point of where we should be as a football club?
I think the way it looks is we are there when it comes to size and money as such, from what we see. But when it comes to quality of football side and that, we're a million miles away. And again, that's that line between business and football. When it comes to business, we're pretty much as big as any of them, really. But when it comes to football, we're a million miles away. And that's the borderline between that. And that is where I believe more has been focused on the business side than on the football side. But just because we're as rich as them and everything else, yes, I feel we've got the capability to spend more money than what we do and possibly pay bigger wages than what we do. But we don't. On the football side, we are nowhere near as big as those clubs. We're just as big as them on the business side, which I suppose me being one of them can be a bit deceiving for it as such, because you think, well, we're that big on the business. We've got that income. We are as big as these clubs when it comes to business. But when it comes to football, we don't have nowhere near the same ambition. And we're nowhere near the same size of them when it comes to winning things and everything. It's that line, isn't it?
Look, for me, we all know why Frank's been brought in, to get the most out of the players already there. The club has spent a lot of money on this squad, right? Building this squad. So they're hoping that Frank's going to get the most out of these players. But, the club also needs to buy quality, right? They need to improve the starting 11, challenge the players there. So it's a combination of the two things that we need to see and start happening in this window and then future windows, and work towards challenging, the top 4 positions. There's no reason why we can't do it. We've done it in past. We can do it again with a coach now, someone who's going to put in a system in place, get the most out of these players, and then add that quality onto it. And this is the hope, isn't it? That we can get a couple more in this window, and then start building this season and the seasons after. I think that's very realistic, don't you think, guys? I think it's just
on the other side of it, yeah. I said at the start of the transfer window, if we go and buy 2 solid players that walk into that first team, not just because they're necessarily better than who is already there, because I don't think that's the hardest job in the world to do, but 2 solid players, and then, okay, a couple of 3 players for the background, whatever, I'll be happy, because it's actually a good start that we've actually bought.
It's a change, Dan, isn't it? That's a change,
players,
isn't it?
Yeah. And then we go over to January. If we can only get a loan for a decent player in, then or whatever else, but I'd rather we didn't spend any money than just go spend it on another bloody kid, basically, for the sake of spending the money. I'd rather we don't spend the money instead of spending it just for the sake of it. And then we go to the next window the following year. Okay, we've made a bit of progress, whatever, still need to get better. We go and buy another 2, 3 solid players that get into that first team because they are solid players, not just a little bit better than what we've already got. Then aren't we making progress? And when it looks like we got Kudus and when it looks like we got Morgan Gibbs-White, that sort of already made my transfer window like, okay, that's what I asked for, basically. But yeah, then you get greedy and you want more, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I've seen that. I've heard this and this is going on in the background. I now want to see at least another one solid player that gets into that first team. So if it ends up that we only get Morgan Gibbs-White and we make no other transfers, has it actually been a bad transfer window? Because you can say we've got 2 pretty solid players in there that are significantly better than what we got, and it's a start. Or is everybody just wanting this to happen yesterday again?
But Dan, it's also that getting that number 6 as well. So say if we get Morgan Gibbs-White, we've got Kudos, and we get a decent number 6 that in the midfield. You know, it can't just be another potential. It needs to be a solid player. Then I would say, okay, that's definitely in a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I can go with that, but the only bit I can counter that with is I just don't know what style we're going to actually play. And
you've got to understand, Dan, we've got to, I feel like the big elephant in the room that's being missed here is we could say, okay, if we get 2 in, but going into the Champions League, this is different. Going into the Champions League, right? We've got to, we can't keep doing this. I just feel like there needs to be a window. And again, I'm not, you know me, guys, I'm not one that says we could compete with the bigger clubs for the best players. But there's that level of players where we should be shopping, like the Morgan Gibbs-White, like the Kudus, like the Palhinhas. There's hundreds in that bracket, right? Go and get those players. Go and get in 4 of those players this window. Then behind it, you can have the Takais and the Vuskovics coming in, and no one cares. At that stage, no one cares, right? If you bring in 4 first-team players, no one cares about the youth. What I mean by that is no one cares so much because there's not as much pressure on them. Yeah, we know that then, okay, they're being brought in to be slowly integrated. Go and get them. Oh, Mr. Box Office wants to come on. Love it. Go and get these players. Go and get these players. Build a squad so that we don't get embarrassed in Europe. So I don't think bringing in 2 is us wanting things to happen yesterday. This is where I do agree with Lubo. It's been 25 years, Dan.
I agree on that aspect, but again, it comes down to the point of using that word. We should be doing this. We should be doing that, but we don't. It's not how Spurs work at the end of the day. And if I'm going to be totally honest, thank you. Will I be satisfied knowing we're in the Champions League with this, and we haven't got that and whatever else? No, I won't. But I will still have that bit more satisfaction on me that we at least went and got 2 solid players, instead of sitting there and getting 5 or 6 average players and maybe a player that can worm his way into the team, basically. So I'm just trying to look on this, call it playing devil's advocate a bit at the end of the day. But what I asked for is 2 solid players. And I suppose you can look at a few spaces on that team where we need players, like a DM, this, that, whatever else. But we don't do that. It's not how we do it at Spurs. And yeah, we want that to change, but it looks like that isn't going to change anytime soon. So the question to you then, Dan, is what would you prefer? 2 solid players that get into that team easy because they're significantly better, or we just go and do what we usually do and get 1 or 2 players that could worm into that team and the rest of it's just crap that shouldn't even be there or too young to even know what they're doing. It's not a situation you want to be into, and it's not a situation that you want to have to make that decision. But what would you prefer? 2 solid players or 5 players where one of them's all right and the other 4 have just been bought for the sake of the bloody situation?
Well, at the beginning of the window, I was like 3 or 4 first teamers. But, you know, the more the window's going on, it's, you know, I'm getting less. I don't think that's going to happen. Is if we can get 2 in, that's a start. It's not good enough, though, is it? It's not good enough. We need to bring in 3 or 4 players to go into that first team. We're in the Champions League next season. If we want to compete with the top teams in the Premier League and in Europe, the quality, the level in this squad needs to improve massively, starting in this window. And that's the hope. So I don't know, Dan, and it's this thing, isn't it? The feeling of this is Spurs, this is what we do, this is all we do. I'm not saying I accept it, but I just realistic knowing how the club runs, right?
But you can't change it, can you?
No, you can't.
It's not about accepting it. Sometimes you just got to accept it is what it is, and you can't change it. But it doesn't mean you've got to agree with it.
No,
that's where the
definitely
difference
not.
is. Some people are saying, well, you're accepting the way it is. No, I'm just accepting the way life works in that aspect, and I can't bloody change it. But it doesn't mean I've got to bloody agree with it. And I go back to the point again. I think there was a fair amount of people also on YouTube also basically saying that I would rather start with 2 solid players that we buy every season and then brings the first team players back because they're significantly better. And it actually shows that we're going for solid players, not just hit and hope sort of thing. Yeah, I want more players in. I don't want us to get embarrassed in Europe. I don't want this and this and everything else and that. But are we really going to see any different? And I think 2 solid players is more of a start than 5.
Yeah, but I think it all depends. It all depends where you want to end up. Like, all depends where you want to end up. It's all well and good saying that. And listen, if the best we get is 2 solid players that come in, for example, Gibbs White and Kudus, then that's it, right? There's nothing we can do, as Dan says. But then when we get to the end of the season and we're further behind the bigger clubs than ever, then what does it really matter? Because next season you could bring another 2 in, but now you're so far behind. Those players are looking and going, well, you're far behind the other clubs, right? So I feel like you've got to be making steps year on year to improve. And I'm not saying we won't. By the way, I'll say this now. There's 700 people in here. I'm not saying we won't improve. I'm not saying that the window's shut. I'm not saying that we won't get Palhinha, Gibbs White and a left winger. But I just, for once, it would have just been lovely for us to see Spurs put out a statement of intent, a statement of intent where people go, yeah, Spurs mean business. But at the moment, all right, Kudus, I love Kudus, I do, great. At the moment, we've strengthened the right wing. And other than that, it's the same old players. We're going into pre-season. Yes, Frank will get these considerably higher up the table because he's a proper manager. But at the moment, we've strengthened 1 position out of 11. 1. It's not good enough.
I'm totally agreeing with you. I'm just sort of being a bit of devil's advocate, but looking on it from a realistic side as well of just how Spurs actually work. So what is the minimum that we could do that would actually satisfy your transfer window as such? Because we're not going to do what you want. It's not going to happen. If it does, bloody hell, then I might as well do double tickets. So what would actually satisfy you enough to say, okay, it's not great. It's not necessarily what we need because we know we ain't going to do that. But do you know what? That looks like a start in the positive side.
3 first-team players.
Fair enough. I'll go with that.
As a minimum, 3 first-team players that knock 3 of the other players down, that knock 3 of the other players out of the club. 3. Minimum.
And not just because they're slightly better, because they're solid players, basically, innit? I'll go with that one. At the start, I said 2 because I just have I don't have high ambitions with Spurs. So I said 2 at the start, and then all of a sudden I see there was 2, and I'm like, okay, I want another one. But I agree with what you're saying.
Look, I just think that we look, it's always about moving forward. This isn't just football. This is about anything in life. Anyone who's got their own business, anybody who's got their own house. It's always about improving, right? And when you buy a house, right? When myself and my wife bought my house, we renovated the whole thing. It didn't happen overnight. Do you know what I mean? It was like, right, what's the priority? Well, where do we spend most time? Living room, bedroom, boom, right? Those 2 rooms are going to be done immediately. After that, all right, kitchen, we can do that. Now we can do the back room. Now we can look at a bedroom. Now we can look at right? All of these things. Spurs, for me, though, it's almost like we need to do all these rooms up and we're constantly just going to one room. We're constantly buying wingers. We're constantly buying kids at the back. It's like we've forgotten that there's another 10 rooms in the house that need to be addressed. And I just, for once, want to see, and I keep caveating this. I hope I turn this show off, Dan, whenever we finish, I hope I turn this off and I hope I have to go live again in an hour because Spurs are in talks with, I don't know, Harvey Elliott. I don't know. I'm just using it as an example. Spurs are in talks with Mikatadze of Lyon. But we don't, do we? We don't. We're starved of that. We're linked with Zabanyi. We're linked with Zabanyi. Cool. Is there are we negotiating? No, we're just linked with him. Cool. We're linked with De Winter. All right, cool. We bidding? That's just a link. Cool. What about Guehi? Well, we remain interested. Sure. But it's just so frustrating. Oh,
It is.
box office. How you doing? You said get me on. Why?
Yes, Alex.
I wanted to pick you up on a few things, but on your points that you're making right now, I can't have a go at you because I actually agree with you on that one. To be honest with you, because like,
what did you want to have a go at me about? Go on, let's do it. You come on. You gave me the big one.
I just don't understand why you keep on moaning about people saying that we don't understand about transfers, but then you're moaning about how long we're taking with transfers. I don't really understand it, to be honest with you.
Shall I explain it to you?
Well, yeah, go on.
Well, there's a huge difference between people not understanding how a transfer works and me complaining that we're not getting transfers done. There's no link there. What's the link?
I think it's kind of hypocritical though. Just me
Explain.
thinking. Because the thing is though, I just think that you're saying that transfer is difficult to difficult mechanics, which fair enough, fair point. It is a fair point. Yeah, it is. But then at the same token, you're saying as a fan, you're very frustrated about Tottenham not making any signs at the moment. And
because Alex, the difference is, yes, transfers can be quite difficult. Not all of them, but they can be quite difficult. But where I get frustrated is that people don't understand the mechanics of how a transfer works. What I'm talking about is Spurs never seem to move quickly with the transfers. Right. So I feel like I like what you've done here. You've come on to try and make a point where you don't actually have a point. Right. Transfers are difficult. Chelsea get them done. Liverpool got them done. Nottingham Forest right now, apparently in talks with Ndoye, with Harvey Elliott, with that Douglas Luiz. Difficult to get done, but we know they're in talks with them. Right. So I don't actually think you know what point you want to make. I feel you just want to be controversial. I'll call you out on it.
No, I'm just saying what you said. I'm just saying what you said, Savva. I'm not saying this is what you've been saying. This is the thing, and I think you're mentioning teams at the moment: Liverpool, Chelsea. And listen, I'm not that guy that's trying to defend Tottenham here because I hate that guy at the moment. You know what I mean? Even though we're European champions, yeah. But you're mentioning teams like Liverpool, Chelsea that have been successful in how many years now, and they've got that pull, haven't they? Tottenham haven't really got that. Really, let's be honest here. We only got the Europa League really to really hold our hats on at the moment, haven't we? Really?
So again, Alex, this is the difference. But again, if you're going to come on and quote what I've said, quote all of what I've said. I don't expect Spurs to shop in the same market as Chelsea, Liverpool, City, and Arsenal. I've said that how many times, Danny? You've been Australian. How many times have I said that? I don't expect Spurs. So what you're saying doesn't make sense. What I expect is Spurs to shop in our lane. Yeah. Doesn't mean we have to take forever to get deals done. Right?
No, but
But Alex, look at Sunderland. Why is Sunderland getting deals done?
Yeah, I get you. But you just mentioned Chelsea. You just mentioned, okay, so from what I'm just read what you I'm just listening to what you just said now. You just said about Liverpool and Chelsea. I've just said actually agreeing with you, saying that, well, Liverpool and Chelsea are miles ahead of us at the moment.
Yes.
Right. So we shouldn't be shopping in that area. No, we shouldn't be.
Absolutely.
Right. But I'm just saying at the moment, right, that, with the time of, what Tottenham have to do at the moment, they're trying to get into the, shop with those sort of teams. No, shouldn't be shopping with those sort of teams, but we're going into the Champions League though, aren't we? So it's going to be a bit of a difficult one because we finished 17th, haven't we? Right. And we've only got the Europa League to really hold our hats on at the moment. So I'm just saying at the moment that, there's a bit of a balance here. There is frustration as a fan that it's not going fast. No, it isn't. But at the same time, you can see where the troubles are with the club as well. But there is, they've now got to look at players that are actually that can make the team better now, because they are going for these, they are going into a big competition at the moment. You know what I mean? And there's going to be bigger expectations next season, isn't there? You know what I mean? So, I do feel that there is a balance to this conversation. That's what I'm trying to say at the moment. You see what I'm saying? I do.
Hang on,
feel
no, I don't see what you're trying to say. No, I don't, because what you've done. Sorry, I heard all that while I was getting the door. No, hang on. I'm sorry. What you've done is you've prompted people like this to say things like this. Well said. He's being hypocritical. I don't know why people like Soul Sniper Gaming seem to be able to listen to YouTube without listening to YouTube. Right? Listen to the words I'm saying. Right? Big up, Dan. I know you've got to jump. Big up.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Take care, mate. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Listen to the words I'm saying. I am not saying we buy the same players as Chelsea, City, Liverpool and Arsenal. What I'm saying is those guys get their business done early. I don't know why people like you and this guy can't understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying go for the same players as them. And yes, Spurs do have pull to buy the players in our market. Yes, we do. Do we have the pull to go and get a Florian Wirtz? No. Do we have the pull to get an Ekatike in front of a Liverpool? No. But do we have the pull to get a Morgan Gibbs-White? Yeah. A Kudus? Yeah. Right? A Palhinha? Yeah, we do. So all of this, but you're saying this, you're saying that. Listen to what I'm actually saying. Because otherwise you're falling into the trap of like dickheads like this that don't listen. They don't listen. I'm not being hypocritical. The speed in which a club moves in the market isn't the same as me saying we should be going for the same caliber of players. Sunderland right now are buying good players for their level. They're moving. They're getting it done quickly. Fair play to them. They're going to be ready for their relegation battle. Fair play to them. I'm not suggesting we buy the same players as Sunderland, but Sunderland know the bracket they're in. Maybe you might say they're punching above their weight with a couple of signings. People like Granit Xhaka going to Sunderland. That's a great signing. No?
No,
So they're going about their business. They're making their moves. They're having conversations with multiple players. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We're Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League, and we're sitting here with one signing over the line by the end of July.
But
and then you're telling me I'm being hypocritical.
Yeah, but I do. Well, from what your words were saying, right? Again, this is at the end of the day, Savva, this is about debate here. You know what I mean? So I've got every respect for you. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. But I just have to add that. And the thing is, though, I do feel that there is a kind of is it now you're saying this now because of what we know what was going to be ahead of us next season? You see what I'm saying about
Alex,
Champions League now, or is it?
I think the way to look at this, Alex.
Hang on, Alex. Sorry, what?
Are you frustrated in the sense of that because of what is ahead of us going into Champions League next season, and obviously we got the Super Cup as well? Is it that's another thing that's frustrating you as well? In essence, that's what that was the question I want to ask. Basically.
You mean no? It's the transfer window. This is the transfer window is open.
No, yeah, but I'm not just. I know the transfer window is open. I'm just saying that because of the fact that obviously with the transfer window open, and we know that we need to improve the squad in terms of improving on first team players, right? And we know why we need to do that because we got Champions League, right? Is that why you're very more frustrated in that sense as well because of that as well? Because Alex, if we weren't in the Champions League, for instance, it wouldn't be as frustrating.
It doesn't matter what Europe we're in. Last year, I was frustrated because we knew what we had to go in front of us was the Europa League and the Premier League and 2 cups we needed to sign. This year, we know what we've got in front of us, and I'm frustrated because we know what we need and we know what we need to go and sign. And I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not saying it, but for a lot of us, we've been here, seen it, and done it a million times before. So, are you happy with this transfer window, Alex? Are you happy so far?
I'm meh at the moment. The only one that I feel is could be really good is Kudus. That's it. But that's on the promise that we can get the best out of him. at the moment, and I'm still, that I mean, whether we're going to give it time, I don't know if we're going to give it time or not. That's the thing at the moment, because he can have his good days, he can have his bad days as well. You see what I'm saying? I think we can treat him like a Harry Redknapp sort of signing, Sam Allardyce sort of signing. But I think there could be more. I agree with you there. That's why when you said what you said just before, when I just came on, I absolutely agree with what you said just when I just came on. You see what I'm saying? You made some really good points there for me, that we need first team players to improve on the first team players that we've got already. You had somebody on your review show on Sunday, Sean. I'm just going to name him. I want to debate him anyway, right? Right, that said that he likes Solanke, and no one said nothing. No one said anything, and I was like, "You having a laugh?"
What do you mean? How many times have I debated Solanke? Are you kidding me? I spent about. Sorry, Alex. Alex, again, I feel like this is a lot of waffle. I'll call you out. This is a lot of hot air and waffle coming out your mouth right now, Alex. On that show on Sunday night, the Spurs review, there was a whole 30 minutes around Solanke and the strikers, where I couldn't have said it clearer. How many times that? Sorry, he's just not for me.
Sean was sitting there, and he sat there and said, "Oh, Solanke's going to be good next season because I've got the assistant coach. I can't remember his name now, which I do think he's a good coach, right?" But he said, "Oh, with that coach, I saw him at Reading before the pre-match. Oh, he's really gonna motivate them and really push them." And I'm like, so you're basing Solanke improving on this coach that is going to have to coach him?
I agree with that. Solanke will have a better year, Alex.
Yeah,
but
the thing that
what people can't do is separate two conversations. Do I rate Solanke? Not particularly. Do I think he's going to have a much better year because he's playing for a proper manager and a coach? Yes. So, but what's your point? What, that I didn't go in hard enough on Sean? I don't understand.
Well, I'm just picking up because I just felt that was just left for no one to debate him.
No, Alex, what got said there was, I think what you've tried to come in and say, I get where you're coming from. I mean, Savva, you do go on a lot about how a transfer don't take 5 minutes and everything else. And you're right. But Alex, the other side of it, it shouldn't be taking 24 hours sort of thing, yeah? So that's the way I put that one into a bit of that word you like to use, context or whatever.
Fair enough.
On the other side of it, what was mentioned was, if I remember from what I saw of it, I was still in recovery mode on that day, was that, yeah, some people thought on there that Solanke will get significantly better, score 20 plus goals or whatever. I think we was playing Solanke totally the wrong way, same as most players. And I do think that Frank has got the capability to get Solanke better. But for me, just because he's got him better doesn't actually mean he's even got him good. And I think that was the point that you was coming across with that one on Savva, if I remember right, that you think he will improve, but you still don't think he's of the quality of what we need as a striker.
I'm not sure how we got to this, but I'm not sure.
I'm just going by what Alex has said. I'm just answering what Alex has said.
Solanke's got to do with anything at this stage, but Alex comes on like a wrecking ball. He says, "Get me on," and then when he comes on, doesn't actually have a point he wants to make. I'm waiting for the point. Like, what's the point?
I just feel that there's certain. I think for me, with the manager that we come in at the moment, I do feel that there's a lot focused on him coaching and making these players better. That's what I'm trying to say at the moment, right?
Because he's a coach.
Yeah, which is fine, which I absolutely understand. I'm here for it, but I do feel that there's a lot riding on this at the moment, that he can change a lot of these players. When I just don't think you can make that judgment on him until we see. Maybe at least till the end of the season, next season, and then see whether we can make a judgment on that. He can do it because he's got a lot of games to navigate around, right? And trying to coach those players in that really hectic period is going to be very, very difficult. So and this is why I just don't agree with what people say about, well, this player's going to improve, this player's going to improve. Well,
players will improve, Alex. But this manager, but again, Alex, this manager has got a track record of improving most footballers that he works with. So why would it be far-fetched to say that some players will improve? Listen, Solanke for me, I can't say this anymore. I think he's a very average Premier League striker. But I do feel that he was better than what we saw last year. So for me, I think it's in the middle. Now, if the question you're asking me is, do I think Dominic Solanke should be at a club like Tottenham Hotspur as our main number 9? No. Will I celebrate when Dominic Solanke scores goals next year? Yes. Does that mean I think we don't need better? No. So I'm not really sure what the point is. Thomas Frank is a coach. Look what he's done for Tony, for Watkins, for Vista, for Mbuemo, Damsgaard, Collins. I could go on and on and on. Norgard, Janelt. Look what he's done for Keane Lewis Potter. Look what he's done for Pinnock. Look at all these players he's coached better.
No,
why
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing
why
with
would
you.
he not make our players better?
I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I'm just saying when you're coming over to Tottenham Hotspur, and now what I'm saying is with the time that he's got, right, with these players, right.
This is not. This is not what I said. This is the problem. When Alex comes on and says a really stupid thing like he just did,
I didn't say something stupid.
It was. Now it's got
wasn't.
the stupid people in the chat not understanding.
No,
transfers are difficult by their nature, Don Hotspur. Yeah, transfers are difficult by their nature. That doesn't mean they can't be done quicker than what Spurs do them in.
No, I didn't say anything stupid. I only picked up what you said. That was what I was saying. I wasn't trying to be difficult.
You came on and you equated what I say about how transfers work to Spurs not doing transfers. There's two different subjects. You've conflated two subjects.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't agree with that, but I feel that, you know, that we do. And again, I'm not against Thomas Frank because I do see the coach in him, right? But I do feel because we're putting this all in the ether as a fan base, right? So rivals are watching this and saying, well, you said this, saying Frank is your savior. And unfortunately, in the background, there is a previous manager that's won us a European trophy in the background still, right? Okay, which unfortunately is still there, right?
It's not there. It's not there.
Unfortunately, it is
Why
there.
is it?
It is there, Savva, because you know that other rivals at the moment, because we can't just talk like we're the only team in the Premier League right now, yeah? Right? Okay, there are there are going to be other rivals saying, well, you've just sacked that manager, okay, right? And they're going to say, well, okay, with the players you're getting, and you need to, he's got to do better with these players, and that's it, really. So, that's going to be an issue this season. You see what I'm saying? So,
I think I get where you're coming from, Alex. Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong here. Basically, what you're saying,
because I have no idea.
I will try and translate then. I mean, if I'm getting what you're saying, I'm agreeing with you in the aspect of that. I think Frank was brought in more instead of to rebuild the squad as such, to actually build the squad to actually work as such. And a lot of people didn't like the idea of him as a manager. A lot of people did like the idea of him as a manager. I think he was brought in as a coach, manager, whatever you want me to call him, to basically focus more on what he's got than what he gets. Whether that's the right way or the wrong way, each their own. I think he should be getting more players. But anyway, and he was for me, perfect type of manager, really, for us to bring in, who, let's just say for the moment that Levy is still totally in charge, that can actually deal with what Levy gives him or what Levy doesn't give him, play with the cards he's got and make the most out of it, basically. And yeah, I can agree if that is what you're saying, that I do think that is one of the main reasons that Frank got picked as the coach, basically. Right. You're good at dealing with what you got. You're good at making players better than what they are. You can at least get these players back to bloody standards, because every single one of them has, like bar one, has just dropped off a cliff, basically. So in that aspect, he's got to get the players back to standards before he starts making them better. And okay, give him one or two little players on the side, or a player that can get in that team, and hopefully everything rolls properly. Is that basically what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it's
not that I'm agreeing with how it's done.
Like, I'm confused as to where it's going, Dan. Like, I don't understand. Like, Did you want Frank? Let's go down. Did you want Frank, Alex?
No, not really. No, I wasn't. I
What?
wasn't really.
Okay,
I
why?
wasn't because I didn't see he wasn't really someone that I picked out straight away. No, I didn't think that. No, but at the same time, I do see him from what I've seen already. He's a good coach. So that's the thing. So I'm waiting to see how it plays out, and then everything he said, bar the only thing about him not being ruthless with getting rid of players. I've agreed with him. He's not annoying me, so and I'm very calm about it. So, but I'm just
so
trying
why
to.
didn't you want him? So I'm asking a direct question. Why didn't you want him then?
I don't know. It just wasn't. I wasn't. It just. I haven't really got the answer to it. I wasn't really
But that's what makes the opinion so hard to listen to. Like, if you've turned around and said, I didn't want Thomas Frank, but you can't tell me one reason why not.
Well, no, just for my issue is that I wasn't convinced by it. Out of the managers,
Okay,
I just thought
I'm asking.
I just wasn't
trying to
convinced
put
by
some
him
meat on the bone.
I wasn't convinced by him as a guy that can come into Tottenham and make them successful. That's it, really. At the time, anyway.
But when you're saying being successful, what does that mean from Spurs from this moment?
Maybe the way he plays football. That was it, maybe. You know, maybe
Which
the way
is
he's
what?
playing football. Free flowing attacking football. That's just what I felt.
I'm so confused. Alex, I'm really confused. I feel like you've said this without actually knowing. Like you've gone from, I didn't want Frank. He doesn't do it for me. Success at Spurs, the way he plays football. Which one? Like, what is it that you don't like about Frank? I want an answer, not 55 things. What is it that you don't like about Frank?
It's just not knowing him as much as just not knowing him. That's it, really. I think that's what.
He's been in the Premier League for 4 years now. How do we not know him?
I think we knew Frank better than we knew Ange.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that it's the difference between him managing Brentford and then his managing Tottenham Hotspur. That's what I'm trying to say at the moment. Yeah, you can learn about him as a manager at Brentford, right? And see what he's doing at Brentford and appreciate what he's done. But when he's at Tottenham, then you start to really learn what he's all about there. You see what I'm saying? So, but from what I'm seeing, there's nothing that I can't.
But his skill set, Alex. What's Frank's skill set that you think is okay for Brentford but not for Tottenham?
No, it's nothing against his skill set. I think there's some good elements. There's good aspects of him that I think will be really good for Tottenham. Yes, but there's an aspect. The way that he's.
I'm not getting an answer, Alex. What I'm frustrated about right now is I'm not getting answers.
The way that
to any question I ask, you're not answering. You're saying a lot of words. I'm not getting an answer.
Let me answer the question then. What I say is that I see aspects of him being a good coach. That's what I'm saying. So the way that he organizes his coaches, the way he brings in the coaches and say he's got specific jobs for certain people, set pieces, people that development, what is it else? The team aspects of the first team coaches and stuff. I see that as well, right? I see that he has a plan for every, that for each player that comes in.
Right? He's a coach.
Yeah, exactly. So I see that.
You said all last year that we need a coach.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But you asked me the question directly. Said, "Did you want Thomas Frank?" I said no. That's what. So I said no. I didn't.
Who did you want? Who did you want instead of Frank?
If I was honest with you, I previously rather just had Pochettino or probably a Glasner. Possibly that's what I was possibly looking at. Possibly. That was it.
The one you kept saying was Glasner. And I think that's what most of us would have quite happily took over Thomas Frank as such. I think a lot of us will agree on that one. And you did say Glasner 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But me personally, Thomas Frank was third on my list. I was more than happy that we got him, sort of thing. But I think the majority of us, Glasner would have been the one that really would, I won't say excited, but would have got a lot of us sitting there thinking, yeah, we mean a bit of business here. Whereas I think a lot of people looked on Frank, not that this is my opinion, this is just how I'm thinking a few others do, looked at Frank as a bit of a step sideways almost as such, which I don't personally think he was. I think he is a step forward. And again, I think he's one of the perfect types of manager we could get to just deal with what he's given, basically, because if it is all down to Levy and it's all down to the club list and that, I just feel that Frank has definitely got the capability of playing with the cards he's got a lot better than a significant other amount of managers out there, personally. But Glasner would have been my first choice.
But I'm not trying to confuse anybody. I'm just saying that I'm not totally against Frank. No, it's just you just asked me a direct question. You said, did you want Frank in the first place? No, I didn't want Frank in the first place. No, but from what I've seen so far, there's nothing to really get so angry about anymore. I think he's shown some good aspects of him, but towards the only time I can really get an idea of whether he's going to be good or not is really towards the end of the season. You see what I'm saying? And see what he does with the players he's got towards the end of this next season, and that's it for me. So,
don't you think that from, like, obviously you said, like I did, like Dan did, that Spurs need a coach. If ever a club needed a coach to stabilize the club, it's Spurs. Why? I can't understand why we've got that. We've got a guy that's come in that upskills players. He's great with the press. He's got great tactical knowledge of the game. He brings great coaches with him as well. Focuses on set pieces, focuses on defending, focuses on transitions. I don't know what's not to like. Like, I'm struggling to see the negative. The only negative people can give me is that he's not won anything. Bearing in mind we're a team that's won one trophy in 17 years. So I just want to know what the negatives are.
I don't think it's negatives though, Savva. There's always going to be some doubt in your head though. What will happen throughout the season? Because we're Spurs at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just change that overnight. You see what I'm saying? With fans like myself at the end of the day, you've got to see it. You have to see it and see how it transpires, and that's it for me. So like I said, it is Brentford, right? He did well at Brentford. What is he going to do at Tottenham when there's a pressure? The pressure is completely different.
What was the pressure at Brentford?
Brentford was just to stay up.
Right. Okay. But hang on. But isn't this the thing? The pressure at Brentford for him is a completely different type of pressure than Tottenham. Mm-hmm. Completely agree with you. But the pressure at Brentford was to save the club from going down into the Championship. And of all the managers that have come up in the last however many years, he's never gone down.
He's never gone into the bottom three.
I agree.
He's never gone. Hang on. He's never gone into the bottom three. He's always had one of the bottom 2-3 salary, yearly salaries at the football club. He's organised them well. He loses his best players every year. Every year, Brentford lose their best players, right? And every year, he coaches somebody else to fill that void, brings in good players, sets Brentford up well, and they've got better and better and better over the last 4 years. Are Spurs that big a club that it's that big a leap for him? Are we that big a club? We're a club that have just finished 17th, by the way. Can't defend for toffee, have no coaching, have no stability at all. Isn't, for me, listen, again, only my opinion, I just think he's the perfect man. I just think he's everything we want.
I agree with that, but on the club size bit, he's making a bigger step than Ange did to an extent, if you go by club size. If you go by league size, Scottish League is ranked something like 40 in the world, and there's a reason to it. But Celtic are definitely known bigger worldwide, more expected of them in their own league as such than Brentford, who are just, if we're just going to be honest, it's just a minor club who just, how they're even in that league, the manager deserves the top respect for it. And that's where I feel a lot of managers don't get respect, because I'd love to see one of the big boys come in there and be able to do what he's done at Brentford to the point where he's never even got them into the bottom three. Yeah, let me see some of the big managers go and do that. But you're never going to see it because it won't happen, whatever. But where he's never been at a big club as such, and we are a big club, we're what? Am I exaggerating when I say 10, 20, 30 times the size of Brentford worldwide? I don't think I am. It's probably even more on a percentage than that.
Oh, worldwide,
we are tenfold the size of what they are, and some. He's never been in European football, if I remember right. He hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. And people are just questioning, has he got the capability of doing that? I personally think he has, but it is an opinion. Nobody can sit here and tell me for a fact that, don't worry, he will succeed in that aspect. Because we haven't seen him do it.
What, but as I asked, what is succeeding for Frank at Tottenham? And again, in what time frame?
Yeah.
And in what time frame, right?
I agree. And with that one, it comes down to a lot of it is opinionated, basically.
Exactly.
I mean, what
some people say
I say with it, hang on a sec, Alex.
Yeah.
What I say with it, especially after what we got last season, if he gets us into top 7, I want higher than that, but I think if he manages to get us in top 7, let's say top 6, and gets us on a good cup run, I think he's done a bloody good job, because by the look of it, he isn't going to get 4 or 5 players that get into that first team like Ange did on his first transfer window, by the way. And a lot of it is just opinionated at the end of the day. And when it comes down to the crunch, a lot of people are interested in seeing if he can do it. A lot of people, I can speak for myself here, think he can do it. How much time does he got? Time will tell on that one. I ain't even going to try and answer that. And I think there's a lot of people out there that think it's just a step sideways. We ain't going to see no better, and he hasn't got the capability of doing it. This one just comes down to a lot of opinion. I personally think he's got the capability of taking us a step forward to what we were, and actually getting us to a team that we're at least hard to beat again, and a team that's got some, what's the word for it? We've actually got some routine to us. We've actually know what we're doing on a pitch, not just running about like a bunch of headless chickens and trying out this and try it and just not actually knowing what you're meant to be on the pitch to bloody do. And I think he's got the capability of doing that. And if he also gets the support from the board, I think he can also take it another step forward, because I think he's got the capability of going to a bigger club, a big club, and doing something. But until he actually does it, no one can sit there for a fact and say he will.
Isn't it about looking at a manager's body of work as well? Like, I feel like there's so much we can learn and look at from Thomas Frank and his career that I feel people just mention Brentford. You know, this guy's done an absolute wonderful job, pound for pound. I'm glad. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's fine. But the thing is, though, you could say that about other managers like Mourinho, Conte, Pochettino, Nuno to an extent. Is you can look at the body of work of these people, right, and say, well, yeah, they look good. So they should do well at Tottenham. You can say the same thing. No, I don't think that's genuine, Alex.
Ruben Amorim as well. I'm just saying. Listen, again, I'm not totally against him. It's not me having a go at Thomas Frank, because I'm actually calm about the guy. You know, you see me. I'm not so angry about this guy. He doesn't annoy me as much as his previous manager. But I'm just saying.
Why does he annoy you at all? Like what?
No, I'm not. No, I
don't. He doesn't annoy you at all.
You listen. You're taking my words. You're taking my words and just riding with it, Savva. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. Yeah, but I'm not saying. I just because I said I didn't say he completely annoys me at all. I'm just saying, right? Just to put the argument out there, because there's a lot of people out there that are saying this guy's going to be successful, right? Pretty much saying that he's going to improve a lot of these players, and I just sit there and say, okay, let's just see, because this is a bigger pressure at Tottenham Hotspur than it was at Brentford. That's all I'm saying.
If you're a coach, you're a coach, right?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
By the way, when all is said and done, and we stop talking about it, and the media stop talking about it, when Thomas Frank goes onto that training ground at Tottenham, it's no different to Brentford. On the training ground, his methods are no different, right? His methods are, he's a coach. My job is to coach them better. Now, what we see in the media, what we see on the league table, that is where the pressure comes. This man, this is his job. This is what he's done for 15, 20 years. He's a coach. This is what he does. He upskills players. But I want to pick you up on what you just said there. You said it's no different to Jose, to Conte. Sorry, it's very different to Jose and Conte. I said when Conte came in, this is not going to work, because Conte isn't the same as a Poch. He isn't the same as a Frank. Conte is a man that comes into clubs and goes, I want him. Right? I want him. I'll give you a title. Right? We're not that club. We've never been that club. I don't think we ever will be in the for the foreseeable anyway. So, no, I didn't expect Jose and Conte to come in and completely revamp the squad and coach us. Those guys come in, win, bugger off.
Okay, so that's a bad example then. That's a bad example.
Hang on, let me finish. Right?
Okay.
Those guys, that's what they've done all their career. Conte and Jose have never, ever stuck around anywhere, as far as I'm aware, longer than 3 or 4 years. As far as I'm aware. They've not done the Klopp thing. They've not done the Pep thing. They've not done the Wenger-Ferguson thing, have they? They go somewhere, win immediately, couple of years, and they bugger off. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's a compliment to them. That's what they do. But what Spurs need, and I think we can all see this, is we've been so up and down over the last 5-10 years, or whatever, since Poch went, 6-7 years. We've been so up and down. We need a manager to come in that's just going to go, right, calm, steady, just calm down. Let's not be crazy defensive. Let's not be crazy gung-ho. Let's get a team. Let's be hard to beat. Let's be organised. Let's get some feel-good factor in the club. Let's get the fans some feel-good factor. Let's get the fans on the same page as much as possible. That's what Thomas Frank will bring. At the same time, he's got a coach. We've got a lot of young footballers. Whether we agree with that policy or not, Spurs have got a lot of young footballers at this football club. They need to be coached. They do.
So you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen then, and it's going back to Dan. What Dan said about the previous manager. Again, I'm sorry to people. We don't want to talk about him, but unfortunately, you have to. Right? What happens? Right? Because of what happened with Conte. Right? That manager came in. Right? Postecoglou. Right? 10 games, got everybody on board straight away. Right? Soon as this manager comes in, if he does well, right, gets a fan base on board straight away. Right, it don't take a lot to get this fan base on board, because, like I said before, this is the most deluded fan base in the Premier League by none, and I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to change it because the evidence is there. Right, so like I do think that you saying that's fine, Savva. Right, but you know. It might start the train of saying, "Oh, we're definitely going to do well," and then we're going to have all these outrageous.
When Poch was here, for the majority of Poch's time, how happy were the fan base? For the majority of Poch's time, right?
But for majority, yeah. But because Poch done a lot of things that everybody expected him to do, because no one really expected.
But what Poch did was. Poch built a team, didn't he? Poch built a cohesive team where we all felt comfortable, right? None of us went into games every week thinking we're going to get smashed, right? We all saw that he worked with a defence, he worked with a midfield, he bought some good bargains, right? And there was a feel-good factor for a number of years. Ange had the feel-good factor for the first 10 games. And after, right? And the thing is, there were people, Danny, me and you, in that first 10 games, were two of the only ones going, hang on, I'm not getting carried away. Because everyone, remember, oh my God, get on the, we're going to win the league. You guys are negative, all of this stuff, right? And as it showed, after those 10 games, it just went like that, right? Jose was never going to have the feel-good factor at the football club because he's Jose Mourinho, because he was ex-Chelsea, because some people don't like the way he plays. Conte, exactly the same. Conte is divisive. He's a top manager, but he's a divisive character. When Conte wants to throw his toys out the pram, suddenly the fan base don't matter. Is Conte happy? It's not a bad trait, by the way, but Poch kept the fans happy. Poch kept the board happy. Poch kept everyone happy. Yeah, Thomas Frank, for me, is that ilk. Watch Thomas Frank in a press conference. He's superb. He's superb with the media. He's cool. He's calm. He's collected. Watching with the players. Down to earth. No arrogance. Right? He's not going to come into press conferences, Alex, and say silly things like we should be winning league titles. I always do this. Right? He will keep everything calm from that aspect. The players will be calm because he's calm. The fan base over time will get over the fact that he's not won anything and that he's not Ange Postecoglou, and they will start to become calm. Surely, Alex, that is what this club needs: some stability, some calmness and some stability.
That's why I said at the beginning. That's why I said, and listen, this is not having a go at you, Savva. Sometimes I need to challenge you because I'm not here to sit here.
I'm here for Alex. I'm here for
I'm not here to just have a cup of tea here. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. But it's I absolutely see what you're saying, because I said at the end with Thomas Frank, I've said it a couple of times now, and I've said this, that he makes me feel calm. When he speaks, he makes me feel calm. but there are still things lingering, saying, well, you still need to prove yourself, mate. You know what I mean? Because regardless, and that's going to be the
Every
issue.
manager's got to prove himself.
Yeah, but the thing is though, rivals are thinking like this as well, because they will look at it and say, right, and big up to Lubo, my boy, my guy.
My boy.
My bitch.
Rivals are going to say, okay, you still let go of that manager that got you a European trophy, and they will have a go at that.
Do you care what the rival? Listen,
no, but this is
Alex. Those same rivals that are going to mock us for sacking a manager who won a trophy are the same rivals absolutely belittling the shit out of us for being a 17th place club, right? So don't rival fans. It's like, you know, when you go on these panel shows, right? No fan on these panel shows can ever put themselves in the middle and have a nuanced, balanced debate. It's all about my dick's bigger than yours, my dad's bigger than yours, my club's bigger than yours. None of them actually have a balanced, nuanced conversation about, actually, yeah, I know that this player plays for my club, but we don't do that. So why do we care what the opposition fan bases think?
I'm only putting the other argument out there. Because
sure, and I'm just knocking it back.
Like I said, because this is the thing. This is what is going to happen if Tottenham fan doesn't do the first 10 games. You see what I'm saying? Right? If he doesn't do one in the first 10 games, right? You see what the issue is going to be. And let's be honest here, he's got a very good first 10 games. You know what I mean? To really make an impact. You know what I mean? If he doesn't do it, there will be issues, right, with the fan base. You know what I mean?
But Alex, doesn't this go back to? Let me bring in Lubo and Danny as well. But doesn't this go back to, guys? This is the problem, right? Everyone keeps asking questions that are definitives. Like, what does he have to do in year one, right? Should he get 3 years? Yeah. How long do we give him? Doesn't that go down to what is success? Because, like people are pointing out, we're not as big as the top four. So if anyone's expecting this man to come in and win a league, you know, take yourself to your local clinic and get your head seen, right? Second of all, Lubo, this man is picking up a mess, right? He is. Whatever we think, he's a great coach. He is picking up a club that's a bit of a mess.
You get anybody in any business going into a new company in a senior position that's in a mess, and you ask them what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years, they'll look at you like you're bonkers. I don't know why football fans do this. Let's just enjoy the ride, see how it goes. Football, we know, changes. You can have key players that all of a sudden are injured for 6 months, that completely kibosh all your plans. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? You know,
what happened last season, Ian? Like when we had the injury, so it wasn't Angie's fault.
Well, listen, it didn't help. Listen, unfortunately, Ange was playing a suicidal system, so it didn't really matter who was playing. But had this been a proper system, Dan, then yes, the injuries would have for me counted a lot more, because you know Romero and Van der Ven are the best two. Udogie and Porro with them were the best four at the back, and they hardly played together. But in a normal team with normal coaching, people look on that in a far different way.
Well, now Levy's not in control of it and everything. Now Levy's not in charge and that. Are you now going to give this manager? Are you now going to give this manager, if anything, be a little bit harder on him because he's got an easier job now that Levy's not in control?
Listen, it all depends if he gets the players that he needs. You know, sometimes the players that he needs aren't available. What I didn't want, what hopefully we won't see anymore, are disastrous transfer situations that are caused because Levy has to win the war, you know, and then ends up losing the battle and losing the player.
I hear you, Lubo, but unfortunately we can't have a go at Levy when he's getting in Morgan Gibbs White possibly and somebody else as well, Kudos as well. You know what I mean? So I can't.
And it's nothing to do with Levy. Levy's not in control anymore.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
True.
Listen, if it goes pear shaped, then I've got to blame Vinay. I'm not blaming Levy on this one.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
can't blame Levy. Sorry,
No,
I've got to pick up. I've got to pick up on Brian. I'm sorry. I don't think fans realise how lucky we are to have Thomas Frank. I'm sorry, Brian. You know I love you, Brian. Yeah, but this thing about worshipping the manager when he's just come in straight away just don't happen in my eyes. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. He still needs to prove himself. I'm sorry. Like, Brian, if you want to debate me, yeah, unfortunately my time's up. Yeah, so big up to everybody. Thank you, Savva. I'm still going to challenge you, Savva. Sorry, I might have egg on my face, but I don't care because this is what I should do, right, on every show. I'm sorry. Take care, everybody, and have a good day. Yeah, and I'm
See you
not
later,
waffling.
See you, Alex.
I never waffle.
Ta-ra,
Thank
mate.
you. Take care.
Yeah, look, he cracks me up, man. He cracks me up. Get me on, and yeah. Look, I agree with Brian, though. By the way, I agree. I think we're very lucky to have him. I think that if anyone actually goes and does their homework about this manager, I think it's everything this football club's needed for a very, very long time. When you actually look at the people that have done best over a sustained period of time in the last 20 odd years, it has been the coaches. It's been Martin Jol, Harry Redknapp, Pochettino. These are the people that have given the feel good factor, built good teams. And I think we're being very elitist with the whole, but he's at Brentford. I don't, we're talking like we're a serial winning football club. Like, do you know what I mean? We're talking, listen, I think he's going to be a great acquisition, but it does depend on what you see as success. It does. There will be those that would definitely, the Ange Postecoglou fans, that if he doesn't win a trophy in year one, go, there you go, he's failed. That's life, right? That's
And someone always
I don't know how
needs
anybody
to
can
put
say
the
that.
blame somewhere.
Yeah, we've won 3 trophies in 34 years. What's the expectancy this year? I mean, it's ridiculous. So,
See, look,
we are where we are. Listen,
unfortunately, you get this. How lucky we are to have a Brentford manager. This is what makes me laugh. Unfortunately, this is the fan base mentality we have. Pochettino was absolutely adored. He came from Southampton. Where did Martin Jol come from? Anyone? Answers on a postcard?
Oh, Holland, one of the Dutch teams, but not one of the big Dutch teams.
Right, where did Harry Redknapp come from?
Portsmouth,
when we got him.
Right, like, did you see the point I'm making here? It's like some of the best times I've had as a Spurs fan over the last 25 years, whatever, has been with those 3 guys that all came from small clubs. And now we've got fans just going, yeah, how lucky we are to have a Brentford manager. Sorry, you do realise everyone's got to start their career somewhere, right?
And Arsene Wenger came from Grand Passat to Arsenal. Who heard of Grand Passat?
Mate, I agree. This is the problem. You look at Maresca at Chelsea right now. World Club Cup, Conference League, Champions League qualification. Where's he come from?
Came from Leicester.
Where's Arteta come from?
He came from side manager, didn't he?
Assistant manager.
No, Man City was assistant manager. Man City.
Assistant manager, right? Liverpool. People are saying on his slot. Where's he come from? Come from the Dutch league, right? We could do this all day long. Other than Pep Guardiola, where's Unai Emery come from to manage Aston Villa? Right? Where's Eddie Howe come from to manage Newcastle? Who's the Brighton manager? I always forget his name. Quickly, what's his name? Oh God, why can't I remember his name?
Remember names.
He was
one of the other ones we were looking at, wasn't it?
Where did he come from? You look at the top half of the Premier League where all the managers came from. But this is what we do. It's like no one does any homework on football. It's just, right. So you're telling me, guys, right? Everyone wanted Glasner. Where would he have been coming from?
Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace.
It's just people will say, but people will say he won a cup there, basically, like they do with Ange with us.
Sure, but people wanted Iriola.
Yeah, it just comes down to it. the fact that certain people have to see more to believe more. I'm one of those ones I need to see to believe. Frankie's one that I've actually got a bit of faith in because I think he's got capability. Whereas other people are looking at it, like I said earlier, as a step sideways, even a step backwards, some are saying, compared to what Ange was, because at least Ange had won stuff before he came to us and that. Everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. But it's like I say, I don't feel that let's say, when I say average managers, I mean ones that have been at basically mid-table clubs and haven't exactly got it on their CV, basically, don't get the credit they deserve. Because I would still love, and I'm not saying they ain't got the capability, but someone give me Pep and go stick him in that place at Brentford and see if he can pull off what Frank has pulled off, that they don't even, in the time he's been there, don't even get in the bottom three. I would love to see if Pep has actually got that capability to do that there. Not saying he hasn't, but it's something I'd love to see. I haven't said he wouldn't, I haven't said he couldn't, but I'd love to see him do it. But it's something we're never going to see. And this is where he's taken his step now into the big league, because we are a big club, and how many percent times I say higher than Brentford we are, we now have to see if he's got the capability of doing it or not. Is it going to happen in 5 minutes? I very much doubt it, but that is one big pile of crap that he has got to pick up there. He's got to get the players back to standards before he even improves them. As such, makes them better of what they're capable of, what we know they're good at.
I don't think our fans realise how badly this club has been managed for 2 years. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
It's a mess.
I think on the pitch, it's an utter mess.
And does anyone seriously expect? And we don't get managers come and join us from Real Madrid or Barcelona, do we? So I don't know what people expect.
I'm so confused. You know? I'm so confused, Lubo. You know, we don't do this with players. Imagine we did this with every player we signed. Oh, we signed Van der Ven from Wolfsburg. Oh, Adogi only came from Udinese. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine we did this with every player. Oh, Maddison came from a relegated Leicester City. Like, Vicario. Oh, like, imagine we did this with every player. I don't know. I just get frustrated.
It is, but it's only time will tell. We do it with players a lot, though. You being one of them, me being one of them, and that. And when you haven't seen them perform in the top league and they get bought, basically, you're interested in the aspect of, can he even perform in this league yet? Is he even ready to perform in this league yet? And you will start asking questions. Everyone does. And there'll be other ones who say, no, he's going to do it, hands down. I've got the opinion that he can handle it. And there's going to be others that are like, we could have spent that money better. And it's opinions. It's each their own. And until we actually see him perform at Spurs and hopefully see a change in things, it's all ifs, buts and maybes at the end of the day. But I personally believe he's got the capability to get us at least back to a standard again where we're not a laughing stock and everyone just does the same thing to score the same goals against us every game.
Can I just ask, guys? I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat talking about, the Morgan Gibbs White thing, and we should walk away and blah, 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 and this is all Spurs' fault. And I do think people have got to realise right now, this is now, my understanding is that this is now with the Premier League, and that the Premier League have got to do their investigation to work out what's happened. So when people are saying Spurs can walk away, it's with the Premier League. We can't. What are we walking away from? This is now sitting with the Premier League. The Premier League are going to investigate us, which means we either get the player or we don't. Do you see what I mean, guys? Like, I feel like everyone's making out like this is something you just, I went to the shop, decided not to get something, I walked away. I don't think they're understanding that this has now gone a bit further than the two clubs. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
In that aspect, again, go on in.
No, listen, who do people think we're going to get if we walk away from Gibbs White? People should give their heads a wobble. Seriously.
But it does also show that we're willing to put 60 million down, or however much we did actually put down for it, and have got the capability of spending it. So if it doesn't work, you would still expect us to go for a solid player that gets into that first team easy, not just one that might scrimp and scrape his way in there, basically. And this one, I don't think you can put it on any particular person's fault. Maybe the way we could have gone about it was better, but we don't even know what actually happened. I mean, I would have thought that if this takes so long that we end up walking away and it turns out we did no wrong, I would have thought that Morgan could turn around and sue Nottingham Forest and actually force them to cancel the contract because they basically didn't stick with the contract. But then I don't know what can or what's going to happen. It's just could it or couldn't it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, but again, see, it's comments like this where it's not. This is. I think that people aren't understanding what's happened here. Saying stalling on Morgan Gibbs-White left the window for Chelsea to buy Simmons. I mean, look. First and foremost, we could have put in a bid for Simmons at any time, and Chelsea could counter that bid. So that's kind of a moot point, right? I think people got to understand that. The moment Chelsea heard we put in a bid, they would have gone, right, we're going to bid. Second of all, we're not stalling on Morgan Gibbs-White. It's not Spurs stalling on it. So am I being stupid here, Lubo? This is not on us right now, is it? This is we're waiting to get the decision. And there was a great piece last night, reading about it by Alistair Gold, where he said the 5 possibilities of what happens. And the 5 possibilities, if I can remember them, were 1, Spurs have found that we've done nothing wrong. The release clause stands. We get the player. 2, Spurs have found to have done wrong. The release clause doesn't stand, and we can even negotiate with Nottingham Forest for a bigger fee, but Nottingham Forest don't want to negotiate with us. 3, the third one is that a bigger club comes in and swoops, says, okay, we'll take him at 65, 70, 75 million. 4, is that Morgan Gibbs-White can go down the legal route. But they said, be very aware, if Morgan Gibbs-White goes down the legal route, how quick you think that's going to be? For all these people going, just put in a transfer request. They're not understanding, right? He can put in a transfer request. It doesn't change the negotiations between Spurs and Forest. I just think, I wish people would just do a little bit of homework into it.
Yeah, and it will cost him a loyalty bonus, probably.
Of course.
Do you think some are looking at it like, again, just being a devil's advocate here, but do you think some are looking at it in the aspect of, well, if we're such a big club, we'd already be turning around and saying, do you know what, shut up, keep your player, we're going to go for the next one?
Sure, but at the moment, because there's a legal dispute with the Premier League, we don't get the option to just walk away. It's being looked into. So if Spurs turn around, if Spurs...
Not with the player, without the player, I mean, just walk away from the deal, keep the bloody deal then and go for another player.
Sure. And you'd love to think that that's happening. But still, the background is going to be going on with the Premier League for the Morgan Gibbs-White thing, right?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
That's the point. I feel like we can't just walk away. Plus, if we do walk away, what does that say? Again, optics. What does that say? If we were to turn around and just walk away, what does that say?
You know what? If we was to just turn around...
Of whatever.
Shows you're guilty.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely shows we're guilty if we walk away.
If we was to turn around and say, do you know what? Go shove your player where the sun don't shine. We're just going to spend 60 million on someone else out there who we think is as good, whether we could or not, but is as good, and walk away. To me, that shows a bit more of a big club attitude, in a personal opinion. That don't show guilt. Maybe that just shows I can't be bothered to sit at the table for the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months to get this crap sorted out, when I could go out and get another player of the same caliber, of the same quality, and do it now. Just an opinion. I don't think that makes us look guilty.
Well, I think you watch all of the Simon Jordan's, all of the Stefan Dawson. They say the complete opposite. That if Spurs just turn around and go, no, we're done. It's Daniel Levy saying we're guilty, right?
I do get it.
But what if this is Thomas Frank's number 1 target? If this is Thomas Frank's number 1 target and Spurs are fighting tooth and nail to get their man, their guy, isn't that what we've always asked for?
As long as we know we can get this deal done, then fine, stick by it. Or do we go and do what Ange did last year and fight to get what's his name from Chelsea, the one you like, who went Gallagher? Or do we sit there and do that and then it gets blown out and don't happen? If Spurs are that sure that no, we ain't done nothing wrong, we're going to stick by this, and even if it takes another month, we're going to get it done, then okay, fine. But if they're not 100% sure on it, I just think they should totally drop it and go to the next one.
We don't
I
get a choice
personally
now
don't
because
think
it's with the Premier League. We don't get the choice to. This is what I'm trying to say. Everyone keeps saying this. Just drop it. We don't get the choice now. It's with the Premier League.
so. So if the Premier League turn around and say you're innocent, we still can't just walk away from it. We have to pay it.
I don't know the outcome of that, but it's with the Premier League. So whether or not we don't want to be involved with.
No, we can't drop the issue, but we can drop the deal and say shove the deal. But there's still going to, So if we do drop it, it's saying go shove your player, we'll go for someone else. There's still, I know there's still going to be that, let's just say, court case in the background of did Spurs do this, didn't Spurs do that? But we can just drop the deal and say shove it, but there's still going to be that thing going on in the background of did you do this and did you do that?
I don't know if that's true because if
I don't know, I'm asking.
Well, I'm just surmising. I don't know if that's true because if the Premier League come back and go, no, you've hit the release clause, it's fine, then the deal stands, right?
Only if we want to pay it. If all of a sudden I mean, how many times have other deals gone, like it looks like it's about to go through and then a club has just said, do you know what, and gone elsewhere? It can happen.
Yeah, sure.
Until the paperwork's signed.
I just don't think this is on Spurs. I feel like a lot of people are saying dilly dally. I don't feel like this situation is Spurs' fault.
I don't think so.
If it turns out that we've done something wrong and we're fine, right, we'll deal with that then. But for me, the bigger issue is that we should still be doing deals alongside the Morgan Gibbs White deal, right?
Totally.
That's the bigger issue for me. Dixon, listen, I am going to block you if you just keep coming out with silly stuff, mate. Just join in the chat like everyone else. Just join in. I know you're new to the internet because you're about 12 years of age, but just join in the chat. That's all we ask for on this channel. You know, and this is right. We wouldn't have offered if we didn't want to pay. That's the point. We wouldn't. If we didn't want to pay, we wouldn't have offered it. Look, I just don't know how long this is going to go on for. You would think that the FA, sorry, not the FA, it's with the Premier League, not the FA, right? You would think the Premier League could get this done quickly, but how quickly is quickly? Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? I don't know, but it's just I don't know.
I mean, for the money we're paying for him,
depends how much of a mess it is legally, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Basically, in terms of the time, if Spurs have done nothing wrong and Marinakis is it's all ifs. If he's twisting his story to try and cause a problem, then solicitors will look at it. The Premier League's lawyers will be looking at this. They'll be looking at the contract and looking at the submissions made by both clubs. So, if they can't sort it, then it may well go to a court of law. But I doubt it. These things don't tend to go to courts. If you go to court, you end up spending a lot of money, and nobody wants to do that.
What?
So
some people also saying, well, just give them the extra 5 million to shut them up. If we turn around and give them the extra 5 million to shut them up to get it done, to me that makes us look even more guilty.
It does.
The thing is, they're not asking for 5 million, are they? This is the problem. Everyone keeps saying 5 million.
Randa, I don't know.
They value him. Apparently, they value him at like 80. Like that. Apparently, they all of this over 5 million. I don't think it is. I think this is.
I don't either.
I don't think this is over 5 million. I think they're being really greedy. They're annoyed. I think they're annoyed. Somebody has hit 60 million, and at the time when they valued him, it was probably wow, that's a lot of money. Right now, they're probably going, shit, we could have got more. And I think they're just pissed off. But as we've seen today, apparently, Douglas Luiz's agent is flying today. Apparently, this was posted today to speak to Nottingham Forest about Douglas Luiz joining Villa, Forest. Maybe if Luiz joins Forest, so does Dan and Doy. Maybe then they'll let him go because they've got players in and they've spent the money. Maybe. I don't know, right? It's always
buts and maybes again. Everyone's looking at reasons or excuses. We really don't know where we actually stand with it because it has actually been kept pretty quiet in it, like what's actually gone on behind the lines as such. We only know the very basics.
Yeah,
and same as anything in the world, you only know what the press want to tell you.
Unless Marinakis is legally bomb-proof, then he's dragging it out, A, to get players in, and B, to see if he can keep Gibbs White.
Yeah. That's what,
Obviously.
Lubo, I completely agree. I've got a feeling what you'll see is Forest make a couple of signings, and then I wouldn't be surprised if this all gets wrapped up.
Yeah.
I could see that happening as well,
Yeah.
basically. Like, they basically hung on to him to make sure they can get the deals in and then just said, go on, get lost, basically.
Ishmael Turner saying we need a top centre-back. That's all that matters. We score lots of goals. Well, mate, we're about to go in the Champions League, mate. We need a lot. I think we need a top centre-back. I think we need a top centre-mid. I think we need a left winger. I think we need a striker. I think there's a lot that we need, my man. Look, it is all guesswork, right? What I love is people tune into YouTube channels to watch us chew through the fat of the guesswork, right? And then get annoyed and go, oh, no one knows. But of course, if we all knew the answer, we'd be special guests on TalkSport if we knew the exact answer, wouldn't we? We can only surmise, but I don't know. Let's see. We know that what we do know is that Forest shut off communications ages ago. That's what we do. We do know that for sure. They shut off communications. So I'm guessing this is going to be you get the player, you've done nothing wrong, or hang on, is a slap and a fine for being naughty Spurs. You don't get the player, and we move on. But I just want to see more players coming in the background. I don't want this whole thing to drag out for the whole season, for the whole summer.
No, and that's what's going to be annoying. And this is where you're going to have that question come in of, did this hold us back, or was it just our intention that we was going to get them to and no one else? Or is the club then going to turn it round and say, well, we wanted to do this, this and this, but we didn't do it because we was focusing on that so much. And then all the other excuses or reasons or if buts and maybes comes into it, if it doesn't fall into how we want it to, basically. I don't feel that this is holding us back from...
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't be anyway. I mean, bloody hell,
either.
I've seen other clubs get... I don't think it is, or I don't think it should be. But would it get used as an excuse? Well, I've heard stranger things used as an excuse at Spurs.
I mean,
It'll all play out.
Oh, hello. It's Danny, you still there?
We'll get some.
Okay, sorry, yeah. It's Lubo cutting out.
I read a report before, guys, that Spurs are looking to get one midfield player out before they can get Palhinha in.
Well, yeah, that's what Football London have said. Alistair Golden, that's what they've said. We need to get one out. So let's get out. Let's either get out Basuma or Sarr or Gray. Let's get one of them out the door and let's bring in a proper midfielder. What do you think, Lubo?
Exactly.
You lost me at the end, Sav. You lost me at the end, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure I lost you at Archie Gray.
What's the matter? Your hearing went a bit strange,
This is what it goes down to, Dan. When you spend 40 million on people like Archie Gray and people like Lubo go, no, we should be able to get all of them. Well, apparently not. Apparently there's no space left in the squad. This is why I don't want players like that at the football club. This is why.
Exactly.
This is why. So we were right all along, Dan. We were right all along. Archie Gray blocking the path for bringing in proper senior pros.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
who else goes? Who else goes?
Sav, that's okay. Listen, if you're happy to believe that, then fine, crack on, mate.
But who else goes? And I'm going to wrap up the
Who
show
else
in
goes?
2 minutes, by the way. But who else goes? If Basuma don't want to go, right? If he wants Bentancur, he's talked a lot about Bentancur, right? Papa Sarr, I've seen absolutely no links with him leaving the club. His contract's not nearly up, right?
He's not going nowhere.
Val's not going anywhere.
No.
So for me, I think you loan out Archie Gray, give him a year, and let Palhinha come in and be our main man. That for me. This is common sense, surely.
I agree on that one. I agree.
I'd keep the kid and let him learn from Palhinha and get rid of Basuma.
Yeah, but if Basuma doesn't want to go,
I'd definitely keep Bentancur.
Sure. Okay. So where does Basuma go?
If he sees he's not going to get football, listen, we know Jose wants him.
He's got 1 year left.
And if he can see that he's not going to get any football this year, again, Frank's been there 5 minutes We've only had one game. He's played everybody.
But why
played
wouldn't he?
22 players.
He's better than Gray and Sarr. Why wouldn't he get football if he's still at the club? He's
Well,
better
maybe,
than Sarr
listen.
and Gray.
Maybe Sarr will go. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see what
So
happens.
basically, any one of the midfielders other than Gray, right? Any one of them other than Gray.
I think if you're bringing in if you listen, Gray's there for the future. So why get rid of somebody who could be very, very good when you're looking at Basuma, Sarr, who have not been great over the last couple of years, and Benson
But better than Gray. But they're better than Gray, right? Like that's the point.
But you're talking about different levels of developments, you know, and where they are in their career. You're not talking apples and apples, are you? Basuma's 27, Sarr's 22, Benson Call's 28, and Gray's just turned 19. You can't compare.
But
compare the four.
But Luba, by the way, I've not said
get rid of all the kids then, and not have anybody coming through. So you're just gonna waste all that money.
Hang on. This doesn't make sense. We've got Bergvall coming through in centre mid as the young kid. We've got our young centre mid.
That's one. So we've got to stop at one. We only have one kid coming through. Hang on. Have we not talked about not having a strong squad? What's wrong? We're not talking about 11 as first team.
So
let's talk about having
Gray out for Palhinha, making it a strong squad.
Well, personally, I would get rid of Basuma. I think he's massive for me.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question.
When he joined,
You're not answering my question. I've got no problem.
Does that answer the question? The way I feel about it.
No, let me.
At the moment is that
No. The point I'm making is I've got no problem if Yves Basuma leaves this football club. But the problem is if Yves Basuma is looking and going, I've got 1 year left on my contract, I want a big payout next year, right? How do you get rid of him if he doesn't want to go?
That is the problem. There's a lot of tricks you can try to push him out.
If Gray went out on loan, I'd still sell Basuma. I'd still sell it.
That does not, but you've not answered my question again. Like it's just, I feel like I'm asking the question and not getting an answer. If Basuma doesn't want to go, and I'm just going by what we've read. Yeah. If Basuma doesn't want to go, how do you get rid of him?
It could be a problem.
Of course. So why not put Gray out on loan for a year? What can I ask? Why are you so opposed to Gray going somewhere and getting 46 games in a season to go on loan? Why are you so against that?
Yeah.
Lubo?
What else did you want from me?
No, I'm asking you, why are you so against Gray going out on loan to get game time for a year?
No, I think he's lagging.
Yeah, I mean, but Dan, you see my point, right? Like, I don't understand why everyone, when I say put him out on loan, everyone...
You can't.
No, we haven't got you, Lubo. We haven't got you.
No, he's lagging big time.
Sorry, not this. This. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be ringing up Davis at Birmingham or Mason at West Brom, and I'd be saying, can you play Archie every game this season? Don't take him if you can't. Can you play him defensive midfield every game this season? I don't know what's...
I mean,
Hello?
I can't see what's so bad about putting him on loan and him getting excess more game time, because I just do feel that he stays here, he's going to get the odd game here and there, maybe against Charlton or something like that, and then maybe a game when we're already 3-0 up, he gets put on. Who knows? The manager just might look at him and say, Frank might just say, you're going to be my main guy. I just very much doubt that. Is he even... He's going to be even lucky if he makes a Champions League squad, like, let alone that first team. And I just feel that with a young player like that, go and stick him on loan where he can get like 30 to 40 games in the season, because you can do that on the contracts, right? I put him out to you on loan. I expect him, if he's fit, that no matter what, he plays 80% of your games. And that's what they do on contracts like that on loan one when they put the young ones out there. I just can't see how anyone doesn't see that's going to give him more capability than sitting on a bench doing the odd thing now and again, playing the odd game now and again. Okay, he's got players to learn around, but I personally think you can learn more on the pitch. But personal opinion.
I'd rather have these, not just great, I'd rather have these good kids learning under Frank and Frank's coaching team. I think they'll learn far more than going out to another club. They may play games, but if they're playing under a crap coach, sorry,
so better to be at Spurs not playing.
I've got to shoot anyway. I've got the wife calling me.
Why won't he play? Why won't he play? You're judging him. You obviously, Sav, you don't like Guehi, that's for sure. No.
At the moment, I don't like him. I've not seen anything that he should not be. And this is by your metric. You judge Daniel Levy by not doing the best for this club, but you champion someone like Guehi getting game time, right? I'm saying this, Lubo. If Tottenham Hotspur bring in Morgan Gibbs-White, for example, right?
Yeah.
And we want a Palhinha. Tottenham's midfield options are Saar, Suma, Bentancur, Bergvall, Gibbs-White, Palhinha. Where on earth does Archie Guehi get any minutes in what competition?
He gets to number 8 from the list, most probably.
This is the problem. I'm not knocking him. I've
got to shoot because I've got wife calling me. I'll catch up with you later. Take care, you two.
See you, Dan.
And this is where I think your heart is ruling your head because you're
forgetting the homegrown situation as well.
I'm not forgetting anything. But this is I don't understand. I don't understand. In one metric we want good players at Tottenham to compete. On the other metric we want to let the better players go and keep the worst players. I don't understand this. He's not been fancied at Spurs for a year. He's not fancied for England under 21s. He was shoved to right back for Leeds. But yet we're going on like he's some sort of superb talent that's shone. And he's not. I don't know why we're so enamoured with him.
I didn't say that. I said that. Well, listen, we're short of homegrown players to start with. So at the moment, we've got 22 in our squad for the Champions League. 22 instead of 25. If Palhinha comes in, then someone who's non-homegrown has got to go out. You chuck Guehi out, it's 21. So that's also a consideration as well, Sam. And I think he would benefit. You know, we've all said, and you've said as well, these kids come in, who are they going to learn from last season? If you've got someone like Palhinha, then that's a brilliant mentor for Guehi.
Sure, but I just don't see where does he get minutes. I've asked again, you can't answer me. Where does he get minutes above all those other central midfielders? Look, I'll tell you what. I think I will end the string because Lubo's in and out, and it's quite difficult for us to get a conversation flowing. What I will say is big up to Donna Cullen. Said, Mr. Savva, did you watch Baby? I really wish you'd just be sensible. Thank you for the super chat, but please just be sensible. Mr. Savva, did you watch Baby Reindeer? How was it? What on earth has Baby Reindeer got to do with anything? I've no idea. Look, this is something for another day. We could talk about this another day. I get it. I just think if we're going to start championing wanting to sell better players and keep worse players, I don't think at the end of the day we're then in any position to start protesting and asking for chairman to leave the football club. You got what you wanted. You want the worse players to play. I'm going to leave it there. When was Bergvall going to get minutes above Benter and Biss last season? Well, Bergvall got minutes last season because there were loads of injuries. Didn't he? Bergvall got... But if we're talking about Guehi, Madsy, how many people are going to need to get injuries in front of him for him to get meaningful game time in midfield? You've got Bentancur, who apparently is going to sign a new contract. Bergvall, who's going nowhere. No reports of Saar going anywhere. Apparently, Morgan Gibbs-White's coming in. Possibly Palhinha. Where do you see this player playing? And this is what no one can answer me. Where does he get minutes? I just don't get it. Anyway, guys and girls, I'm going to leave it there. We might be back later for a fan call-in show. You know, we might. We might be back later for a fan calling show. Take care. Much love. Please smash the like button. What I will say is, please, this link that I'm putting in, if you, it's not going to happen. We're not going to sell both Bentancur and Basuma. This is the point. I feel like we're just saying things, aren't we? Yeah, just sell everyone. It's not going to happen. Grizzly, unfair to judge a young 18-year-old played out of position. Sure. Okay, let's start him in centre mid. I'll tell you what, let's get to the Champions League games and start Archie Gray centre mid. If that happens, no one can complain about our transfer window. No one can complain because you want this. No one can complain. I will hold Lubo. I hold him to account on this. He wants these players who aren't good to play. Fine. That's fine. Don't complain after that. Right? Don't complain. Right? Dude, you're saying get rid of Basuma and Bentancur and Sarr. We can't get rid of one of them, let alone all three. And why would I want to get rid of 3 players better than Archie Gray? It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end the show. Much love. Listen, this link, please, if you haven't hit it yet, this is the Spurs 5 starting on Thursday. Guys, honestly, it's just an innocent football panel show. Don't listen to all the hate you're hearing. All we're doing is just having a panel show about football, and people are losing their mind. We'll start that 8 p.m. Thursday night. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. If you were already subscribed to Henry Wright TV, then don't worry, you're already subscribed to the show. But thank you very much. Please smash the subscribe button on that. Take care, everyone. Thank you to Lubo, to Dan, to Alex, to James, to Dan Elist as well. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.